Benvenuti a Rock'n'Gima, onorati ospiti. Io sono il dottor Ferdinand e ho una brutta notizia da darvi, sfortunatamente. A quanto pare la patch italiana che stavamo giocando fino allo scorso episodio non copre tutti quanti gli 8 episodi di Umineko, ma solo i primi 2. Quindi ho scoperto in live questa brutta notizia e ho deciso di ovviamente continuare la serie perché è impossibile lasciarla a metà, neanche a metà, a un quarto in questa maniera. Però ecco, non esiste una patch italiana completa per questa versione di Umineko che sto giocando. Quindi da questo episodio in poi la serie continuerà in inglese. Mi scuso per chi stia seguendo la serie e non capisca bene la lingua, per quantomeno tentare di ovviare a questo problema, lascio in descrizione del video una playlist che contiene un playthrough completo in italiano, però di una versione molto più vecchia, che è presente su un altro canale. Spero che almeno questo possa aiutare chi è curioso, ma sfortunatamente non conosce la lingua inglese. Per chi invece si sente abbastanza pronto a continuare questa avventura con il terzo gioco della strega in inglese, prego, onorati ospiti, siete tutti i benvenuti. Assurdo che fra tutte le cose Umineko è quello che mi ha portato a dover fare le live in inglese. Gente, almeno avremo una traduzione senza typo perché questa è quella ufficiale. Quindi a sto punto, gente. Episode 3, Banquet of the Golden Witch. Good morning, this is a surprise. That even now you do not surrender. The Golden Witch has exceedingly high expectations of you. Have you perhaps also come to realize the structure of this world? There can be no victory without knowing the rules. Please enjoy a hearty game with the witch. The difficulty level is fair for you and fair for the witch. Volevo leggerlo in inglese. Anche per sciogliermi un pochino la lingua, che ho bisogno di sciogliermi un pochino. Allora, tra di noi siamo tutti italiani e parliamo italiano. Dobbiamo leggerlo in inglese però. Non se ne esce. Sfortunatamente. Gente, let's go. Sempre. Allora, io ho veramente il cuore che batte a 1000. Siamo sono super eccitatissimo. Mi spiace che dobbiamo farla così, però. Penso perché ci sia un secondo menu, tipo tu lo clicchi e vai nell'episodio nel menu da 5 a 8. White Shadow, la canzone. Cos'è questo posto? Mai visto prima? There was a very, very beautiful rich... abbiamo iniziato benissimo. The vase was very, very beautiful, rich with history and value. Even as young as I was, I still forced me to take a deep breath when I witnessed its beauty. Of course, it was one of grandfather's favorite collection pieces, so that I didn't accidentally destroy its fragile beauty, I was always strictly ordered never to touch it. But that was just me when... Madonna, la dislessia qua è ancora peggio. But that just made me want to touch it. You could almost see right through it, and yet it was so elegant. It appeared so weightless, and yet it had an indescribable presence. I wanted to see what it felt like to touch a vase like that. However, just as grandfather had said, it was something that must be not touched. This much beauty arises precisely because it must never be touched. It was a beauty that could only dwell in something so fragile it would break at a touch. Which is exactly why, if it were to be touched by my imprudent finger, it would also easily, just like an enjoyable morning dream fading into nothing as you wake, vanished, fell, and broke into smithereens. I realized that because of my own foolish curiosity, I have done something that couldn't be taken back. No matter how much I regretted it, no matter how much I apologized, the broken vase would not turn to its original form. I would probably be scolded by grandfather, probably very harshly. Frightened, I ended up breaking into tears and sobbing. As I did, I noticed something beautiful. Lightly dancing golden butterflies were coming towards me. The beautiful butterflies began to gather, one at a time, glittering fantastically with glowing golden powder. Oh, it's Beatrice! That reliable golden witch Beatrice has arrived. The butterfly gathered one after another, grouped together, and there became her form. She was always on my side. Whenever I was in trouble, she would always appear and help me. Good day to you, princess. Beatrice!
Oh my,
why are you crying so on a day so perfect for a tea party, my princess?
おじいさまが大切にしていた壺を壊してしまったの。
Questa voce non è nuova, la potete riconoscere. I broke grandfather's precious vase.
おじいさまに怒られます。
Grandfather will get mad at me.
どうしたらいいかわからな
I
くて。
don't know what I should do.
それは困りましたね。
That is indeed
これは
worrying.
親方様
I
が大
believe
層
that
お気に入
Master
りになら
greatly
れていた壺のはず。
treasured this particular vase.
どのような折感があ
It's
る
terrifying
か、こ
even
のベ
for
アト
me
リ
to
ーチ
think about
想
what kind
像
of
するのも恐ろ
punishment
しい
you
ございます。
receive. Grandfather was a very frightening person, and once he told you something, if you failed to follow it, he would become mad with rage that would make even the fallen angels in hell quiver. I was intimately familiar with that, which is why I couldn't do anything but shake like this and cry. Sì, ho
こぼし
capito.
てしまった姫様の涙を救う魔法は持ち合わせておりませんが、
I hold no magic to scoop up your falling tears,
姫
princess.
様が親方様から折檻を受けなくて済むようにする魔法ならなんとかなるかもしれません。
But if you want magic that will make it possible for you to avoid being scolded by the master, I might be able to do something.
本当？
Really?
姫様が私の力をお信じ
If
く
you
ださ
will
れ
believe in my
ばでご
power,
ざいます。
princess,
魔法の力の
the
根源は
basis of magic
信じる
power
力。
is the power of belief.
奇跡はそれを強く信じる者の
Miracles
前
will
に
only
しか
happen
示され
before
ません。
those who strongly believe.
信じる。
I believe.
ベアトリーチェの魔法を信
I
じます。
believe in your magic, Beatrice.
だからこ
So
の壺を
please,
直してください。
fix this vase.
お願いします。
Please.
姫様がそれをお
If
望みで
that's
したら
what you want, princess,
それではこのベアトリーチェにお任せ
then
を。
leave it to me. Well, when she extended her index finger, a golden butterfly softly landed there and changed its form into her favorite magic wand. Even that was enough to give me a small glimpse at Beatrice's wonderful and great magic power. She pointed her wand at the broken vase, and just like a child's lullaby, she began speaking the magic words.
さあさあ目を閉じてごらんなさい。
Come, try closing your
そし
eyes
て思い出してごらん
and
なさ
try
い。
to remember.
あなたがどんな
What
姿を
form
してい
did
た
you
の
have?
か。それはきっと
It
とて
was
もとても
surely a
美し
very,
い
very
姿。
beautiful form.
どうか私に
Please
あの姿
show
を
me
も
that
う
form
一
one
度
more
見せ
time.
ておくれ。
Were they words or was it were they words or was it a song? No, it was surely magic. After all, can't you see? The pieces of the vase are gathering together in no time at all, and softly returning to their place where they have been displayed, returning to their original beautiful form. Mamma mia.
すごい。
Incredible.
ほら
See?
これで元通
Now
りで
it's
すよ
back to normal.
これで親方
This
様
way
に
you
お叱
will
り
be
を
able
受け
to
ずに済み
avoid
ます
being yelled at by master. Vedrai, Andrew. Vedremo tutti. Oh, Hope, il mio cuore.
ベアトリーチェはすごいね。
Beatrice, you sure are
壊れ
incredible.
た壺を直すな
It
んて。
was no trouble for you to repair a broken vase.
そんなことはありませんよ
That's not
壊
true.
れてしまったものを
Returning
元に
something
戻すの
broken
は
to its
とても
original
とても
form
難しい
is
こ
a
とです
very, very difficult thing.
私の魔法は一
With my
時
magic, I
それを
could
思
do
い出
no
させ
more
るだけ
than
に
to
過ぎ
make
ま
it
せん
remember what it was for the time being.
でも
But,
壺は
but
ち
the
ゃんと
vase
元
really
通り
turned
にな
back
っ
to
た
the
よ。
way it was, right?
そうですね
That's right.
ですがそれは壺が壊れ
But
た
that
という
doesn't
運
mean
命
that
を
I
回
caused
避
the
させ
vase
た
to
わけでは
avoid
あり
its
ません
fate of being broken.
壊れた壺に一
I
時
did nothing
壊れ
but
る
make
前
the
の姿
broken
を思い
vase
出させる
remember
だけ
how
に
it
過ぎま
was
せん
before it broke for the time being. No, I did nothing but make the broken vase remember how it was before it broke for the time being.
壊れた運命を元の姿に修復するほ
Magic
どの魔
power
力
that
は
can
こ
repair
の
a
ベアト
broken
リーチェに
fate
も
to
未
its
だ至ら
original
ぬ遥
form.
かな
It's a
高みなの
very
です
high level that I have yet to reach. At that time, the high-pitched scream of a servant could be heard inside the mansion. When I went to see what had happened, I noticed that several of the servants had gathered, and they were cleaning up the remains of the broken vase. From what they said, it seemed that a black cat had sneaked in from somewhere, climbed onto the vase, and toppled it over. I understood the meaning of what Beatrice had said. At the time that I broke the vase had not been broken. Beatrice assured me that the vase had been restored, but that had been a temporary thing. It didn't mean that the fate that the vase had been broken had changed. As a result, the vase had remembered its true fate and broke. But I hadn't broken it. Instead, it had been a cat which had snuck in. That's right. Beatrice hadn't said, "Let's mend this vase." She said she would make it so that I didn't have to be punished. Mamma mia, la mia dislessia veramente qua si fa sentire. She said she would make it so that I didn't have to be punished. The fate of the vase breaking hadn't changed, but the fact that I had broken it certainly had. Beatrice had skillfully saved me from dangers with that magic.
物を壊すことは
It's
とても
very
容易
easy
な
to
こと
break
です。
something.
姫様が壺
Just
を
like
割
you,
るのに
princess,
魔法を
did not
必要と
require
しなかったよう
magic
に
in order to break the
直
vase.
すことはとて
Fixing
も難
something
しいこと
is very hard.
はい
Yes.
姫様が途方に
So
暮れ
much
て泣き
that
出
you
して
were
し
at a
まうほ
loss
どに
at what to do and started
魔
crying.
法というのは
So
恐ろ
it's
しい
easier
こと
to
を
use
する時
magic
の
to
方が
do
たやす
horrible
いの
things.
壊したり
To break,
殺したりすることは簡単にできるのに直したり
But
蘇ら
fixing
せ
and
たりするの
reviving
は
things is
とて
very
も
hard,
難し
as
い
you
という
say.
し
そうですね
That's right.
魔法は
With
殺
magic,
めた
it is
り
much
壊
easier
し
to
た
do
りするこ
things
との
like
方がとて
breaking
も
and
簡単で
killing.
すゆえに
Therefore,
誘惑
weak
に負ける
witches who
弱
lose
き
to
魔女たちは
temptation
安易に
become
身につけられる
intoxicated with
力
that
に
power
より
which they can
本
so
当の魔
easily
法の修
obtain
行を怠って
and
しまいます
neglect the real magic training.
本当の魔法とは
Real
直
magic
す
is the
力
power to repair,
蘇
to
らせる
revive,
力散ってしまった
to
幸
call
せを
back
呼び戻
happiness
し
which had
冷めてしまっ
disappeared,
た愛
to
をも
call
呼び
back
戻
love
す
which has gotten cold,
そして微笑を
and
忘
it
れて
can
しまっ
call
た
back a
姫様の
forgotten
顔に
smile to a
笑
princess
顔を呼
face.
び戻せるのですよ
Then
壺を直すことができたベアトリーチェは
that mean
すごい
that
魔女と
since
いう
you
こ
could
と
fix the vase, you are an incredible witch?
私など
My
まだ
days
ま
of
だ修行
training
の
are
日々
far
ですよ。
from over.
壺が割れるという
After
運
all,
命を
I couldn't
私
make
の
the
魔
vase
法では
forget its
ほんの
fate
1
for
時
even
間
an
も
hour.
忘れさせることができなかったのですから。私に魔法を
If
教
he
え
had
てく
been
れ
my
たお師
master
匠
who
様なら
taught me magic,
壺を
I'm
元
sure
の
that she
姿に
would
蘇
have
ら
been
せる
able
こ
to
とができた
restore
で
the
しょうね。
vase to its original form forever.
壊れても壊れても何度でも何
If
度
it
でも直
broke
せ
and
る。
broke and she could fix it over and over, if it broke and broke, she could fix it over and over again. Yes.
その境地に達
When
した
one
時、
reaches that
無限の
level,
魔力が
they
備
are
わるでし
possessed.
ょう。
They are possessed of endless magical
それ
power.
こそが
That
魔
is
女の発す
endless
るべ
level
き
that all
無限
witches
の
should
境地。
strive to reach.
私たちはその魔女
As
を
a sign of the
最大
highest
の敬
respect
い
to
を
all
持って
witches,
こう
we
呼び
call
ます。
them
無限の魔
an endless witch.
そうです。
That's right.
無限に治す力を
To
持つ魔女
witches
にとっ
holding the
て
power to
壊れ
mend
るという
something
概念は
endlessly,
もはや
the
存在し
concept
な
of
い。
breaking doesn't even exist.
失うというすべ
They
て
are
の悲しみ
released
から
from
解放
all
さ
of
れ
the sadness
永遠
caused
の
by
至
losing
福を約
things
束される
and,
のです。
and are promised eternal bliss. Certainly, the human world is full of sadness caused by separation and loss. To escape that sadness, people pray to God and ask for the power to withstand the sadness, believing it to be a test. In other words, a human life is a journey searching for a way to withstand sadness. In that case, a witch who could revive all things would be freed from all the sadness in the world. In other words, it is eternal bliss.
私も
I wonder
ビアトリーチェみ
if
た
I
いな
could
魔女に
become
な
a
って
witch like you and
永
gain
遠に
eternal
幸せにな
happiness.
れるかな。
姫様が
You?
ですか。
Princess?
それはそれは
That would be
長
a
い
long,
長い
long,
大
difficult
変な
path,
修
you
行となり
know?
ますよ。
私
I want to be a
魔
witch.
女になりたい。幸せになり
And
たい。
I want to be happy.
ビアトリーチェの弟子
I
にな
want
り
to
た
be
い。
your disciple.
そのお気持ちにいささか
Do
の
you
揺ら
have
ぎもあり
even
ま
the
せんか。
slightest doubt in that feeling? No,
私も
I want to become a
魔女
witch
になり
too.
たいです。
わかりました。
Alright.
では
Then,
姫様がお飽き
until
に
you
なる
get
まで
tired of it,
私の弟
princess,
子にして差
I
し上げ
will
ま
allow
しょ
you
う。
to be my disciple.
私のことをお
Will
師
you
匠
call
様と
me
呼べますか。
master?
お師匠
Yes,
様。
master.
良い返事ですね。
That's a good
では
answer.
これからは
Then from
私と
now
一緒
on,
に魔法
learn
の
the
深
depths of
淵を
magic
学んでい
along
きま
with
しょ
me.
う。私とって修行の
And
に
I am also in
共に
training.
魔法を
Let
正し
us
く学び
both learn
至
magic
福
the
の境
right
地を目
way
指して
and
頑
do
張り
our
ましょう。
best to reach that blissful level. Yes,
お師匠
master.
様。
Ovviamente nel manga qua si capisce immediatamente chi è. Vediamo se ce lo dicono, altrimenti sto zitto. Perché nel manga mostrano chi è questa bambina che parla. A dream.
懐かし
That
い
face
顔だ。
brings me back. Endless Witch was it? A name that I've yearned for in the past as the highest achievement, now just another of my titles. Now you can even call it a name.
たまにはその呼び名
Every
に
once in
重
a
責を
while,
感じ
it's nice to feel some satisfaction from that name. Devo andare alle 6, ho tempo, non preoccuparti.
長き修行の日々の果てに
It is something that I have gained as a result of many days of training.
たまにはありがたみを感じ
It's a little bit of a waste if I don't feel some gratitude for it once in a while. I shook my head lightly. If it is called the highest level, that means that there is nothing higher. An eternal dead end, the beginning of eternal boredom. Bravo Gio perché ci è arrivato.
お師匠様は言っている。
Master said it once.
すべての悲しみから
Then
解き
when
放た
one
れ
is released from all sadness, it
永遠の
is,
幸
it is the same as eternal bliss.
だからこ
Which is why I
そお
think
師匠様は
Master couldn't
その
reach
域
that
に
level.
至れなかった。
Eternal bliss means eternal boredom. That's the beginning of eternal torture. But perhaps all things depend on your point of view. Eternal boredom is the same as a sketchbook that doesn't run out of pages. It means you can draw whatever you want, can put in as much effort to enjoy it as you want. Boredom is the worst poison that kills all witches. To the great witches who hold the title lady, this is frighteningly true. It is the eternal poison that tortures them because of eternal bliss that they have reached. Sì, sono due persone diverse. Now that I have earned the name of Endless Witch, I truly wish to speak with my master again. Was the result of our training really happiness? And I want to talk with her about what true happiness is. Training has no end. When you think you have reached the eternal level, that is the time to regret your immaturity. As if in answer to my own words, a memory of her saying something like that entered my mind. I see. I am immature, am I? Certo, alzo la mia voce? How nice, how nice. Some painfully shrill laughter could be heard. It was from my furniture. Oh, ok. Adesso sono abituato a questo termine perché per me è sempre stato furniture. Io l'ho letto in inglese ai tempi, ovviamente, siccome non c'è in italiano. Mobili mi ha sempre fatto un po' strano, ecco. It was from my furniture. Did they break their toy again? Beatrice-sama, this guy stopped moving again. Oh, even though I haven't played enough at all. What a pathetic man. I haven't even played at all. Let me play, let me play. Be silent, you filth. No matter how Beatrice-sama fixes him, he just breaks the right away. Because all of you devour him like starving dogs. You broke him the most, Satan-ne. Because you don't know restraint. My apologies, Beatrice-sama. Forgive my cretinous younger sisters. Fix him quickly. I'm next. Can you not be silent? Shut up! Just from that single yell, the noisy sisters of the Seven Stakes disappeared and hid. They just mess around, having as much fun as they want, breaking him. They only come to me to clean up afterwards. Good grief, my furniture doesn't let me get bored. What remained after the pieces of furniture hid themselves was just the sloppy mess that was all that remains of the broken toy. He had no form anymore. Even I find it hard to record his original form when he looks like this. It's better to make him remember for himself. Oh well. I waved my golden pipe and I chanted, I made it remember. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? After all, right now, you look like nothing but a huge lump of scrap meat to me. I have no idea which parts are the arm and which parts are the legs. If you don't remember for me, I won't be able to recall your face. By the power of magic, the pitiful pieces of meat began to remember what form they had been. Who was connected to who? Where was joined up with where? That's right, just like that. No, you shouldn't be a finger on the left hand. And you, the right hand. That's it. Good. Good morning. Feeling awake? How truly ironic that being awake is even more like a nightmare. If you would just accept that I am a witch, you'll quickly awaken from this nightmare, and I'll send you to heaven. I am the king of Mount Purgatory. There's no way out of this hell without my approval. King of Purgatory, davvero. You call this hell? That's no good. Yeah, that's no goddamn good at all. The pain of death, which humans only have to taste once, have been given to you more times than I could count with all my fingers, and yet, how can you keep talking like that? That's why I never tire. I never tire of you. Yeah, I'm not tiring either. I mean, I get to pick and choose from those beauties, from those busty babes with that. Porca troia. Yeah, I'm not tiring either. I mean, I get to pick and choose from those busty babes with dazzling asses in my harem. Thanks to that, I'm not getting tired at all. I'm glad to hear that. Otherwise, I too will be bored. So, my furniture. I fixed them so you can play as much as you want. Thank you very much. Dibs. Didn't I say you're done? You're done. I'm next. Back off. Wonderful, isn't it, Butler-kun? You're so popular, aren't you? Oh, it's hard being a popular guy. Get in line, you beasts. If you stop acting all tough and starting being honest with yourself, this would be much easier on you. It's alright like this. His screens feel so much better this way. Alright, let's not break him easily this time. Well, do you hear me? You aren't in control. So, Butler-kun, let's continue where we left off, alright? After locking Jessica-chan's room with the master key, how did they return the key to the pocket of the corpse which was inside the room? For example, that's it. They used a fishing line or something, and just the key went back into the room through the crack of the door. Wrong. So many. All of the doors that exist on Rokkenjima, none has a crack to which a key can slip. He got it wrong? He got it wrong? Right, this time me. It's my turn. Where should I strike? Back of the hand. That's mean.
反対の手
Then
の
the back of the other hand.
私は鼻の頭をもら
I'll
っちゃ
take
っ
the tip of the nose. Sì, le scritte rosse sono sempre vere, può dirle anche mio nonno. Il fatto che sei in grado di dirlo vuol dire... Cioè, se lo dici è vero. Cioè, se viene fuori scritto in rosso è vero, indipendentemente da chi lo dice.
なんでなんで私もやらせて
Why? Let me do it
私に
too.
も
Let
座
me
らさせ
strike
て
too.
レビアネはとろいのよ
You're just slow,
いつだって私
Leviane.
たちは早い者
You
勝ちでしょ
snooze, you lose. It has always been how we... It has always been the way we've done things.
じゃあ私
Then
は足の
I'll take the
甲
top
を
of
い
his
ただい
foot.
ちゃおっと
Me too, me too. Fine, I don't care, I'll take his shoulder. They're sisters, right? Be nice to each other. How can you withstand that? Why haven't you realized that your false courage actually makes us more excited?
なぜ気づかない
Too bad. False courage and being stubborn are my specialty. No matter how you all try to speak in riddles, I definitely won't accept witches and magic.
人間とトリックで何も説明
Even
で
though
き
you
な
can
いくせに
explain anything with human
バ
tricks.
カじゃないの
Are you a moron?
この身の程知らず
Know your place.
いいのよ
It's
無理に認
alright,
め
we
させ
don't
な
have
くて
to
も
force him to accept it.
今に泣きながら認
Any
めたく
moment
ない
now
わ
you'll break down crying with the desire to accept it.
今だって
Even now he really wants to kneel down on the ground pitifully and beg for our forgiveness. It's broken already. Beatrice-sama.
や
Oh,
れ
dear
わらわ
me.
がいくらでも蘇らせ
Since
ら
they
れ
know
る
that I
こ
can
とを知
revive
って
him
い
over
る
and
から
over, my pieces of
家具どもも
furniture
壊
don't
す
even
ことに
hesitate to
躊躇
break him.
困ったもの
How troublesome. Endless rebirth, give me free reign over endless deaths too. Before the endless witch Beatrice, all dive, or dive, bellissimo, life and death assieme diventa dive. All death and life has no meaning. Even death can serve as the key to escape from my cage.
さあバトラー
So, Battler,
再び元の姿を思い出せ
remember your original form once
何
more.
度でも
I'll
もて
toy
あ
with
そん
you
で
over and over again.
なるほどな
I
る
see, I see. It is truly
永久に
pleasant to have a
遊べる
toy
ガン
to play with for
実
all
に愉快
eternity.
よなるほどなこれが無限の境地に至った魔女が得る至
But
福の
I
境
see,
地とやら
I
な
see. Could this be the endless bliss which witches gain at the endless level?
なるほど
I
なる
see,
ほ
I
ど
see.
これ
This
は
certainly
確かに
is a pleasant
愉快
bliss.
で至福だ何度でも蘇らせてやる何度でも
I'll
殺して
revive
や
you
る
over and over, kill you over and over.
さて
Now then, which kind of
次のゲー
murder
ム場
spree shall I
でどの
unleash
よう
on the
な殺
next
人劇を
game
繰り広
board?
げようさあ
Come,
新しき
bring
ゲ
the
ーム
new
版を
game
持って
board. Why don't we begin the new? Why don't we begin the next game?
後ろ宮バトラー
Ci siamo? È sempre la stessa, vero? Quindi devo skipparla. L'abbiamo constatato anche la volta scorsa, no? Sì, mi sembra proprio la stessa. Allora dobbiamo farlo schippo. Dobbiamo farlo schippo. Se no c'è lo spoiler. Oh, non c'è non si poteva, è vero, non si poteva. Oh, ok, e niente. E non si può. Non si poteva skippare, è vero. Vabbè, ascoltiamo, la musica è figa. Conto gli spoiler adesso, Guarda che l'hanno mostrata, tra l'altro, qui, la Beatrice passata, e un altro personaggio, tra l'altro. Quindi contiamo gli spoiler, un nuovo personaggio che non avete ancora visto. Una scena... Oh, Madonna! Si mostravano... Cioè, adesso che avete questa consapevolezza, a vedere queste cose qua mi darebbe molto fastidio. Dopo ve la mostro nel gruppo Telegram. Ah, lei avevi detto dove potevi mandarmi fan art. Su Telegram sarebbe la cosa più semplice. Se no c'è il Discord. Da lì tu mi puoi... Mamma mia, che cosa si è visto per una frazione di secondo. Oh, quanta roba! Dio mio. Posso dirvi che si vedono robe di episodio 7, episodio 8? Sì, allora, io devo anche dire che devo prendermi a parlare inglese adesso, perché io lo capisco perfettamente, ma leggere ad alta voce è un'altra cosa. Allora, un attimo. Tanto fammi vedere qui se c'è qualcosa di diverso. Possiamo vedere anche il Which Side adesso. Con tutto qui, con le cose le abbiamo già lette tutte. No, sono diverse. Sono diverse, queste dobbiamo leggerle. Sono diverse. Sì. Allora, the Endless Witch has lived for 1,000 years. She is known for being exceptionally cruel even among witches. Questo abbiamo letto. Sì, questo l'abbiamo letto. Ok. This witch is extremely powerful, but word has it that she sometimes becomes obsessed with the art of creating certain patterns, so that her means end up becoming her goals. Questo c'era anche la volta scorsa. Queste erano diverse però. Advanced level furniture created by Beatrice. Lucifer is the eldest of the sisters and by extension also their leader. For that reason, she claims to be the strongest of the sisters, but is secretly aware that she is actually the least talented. However, she carries herself with pride every day in an attempt to hide this fact, while living in terror of how she would be disparaged by her sisters if they would ever find out. Mamma mia, ho un prurito qua nel naso, fastidio. Ok, Leviathan. Leviathan often controls the eldest sisters, Lucifer, on behalf of the younger sisters. She has a fundamentally envious and brutal personality, and it is adept at finding others' weaknesses. However, she is better described not as envious, but as a crybaby who wants her own way. For some reason, she is not very shrewd and always ends up the last in the sisters' orders, drawing the short straw and crying. Sì, ovviamente. Satan takes the role of the ever-angry class president of the sisters. Diatribes tend to fly out of her mouth in rapid succession, so she is feared by the other sisters. Because of this, no one is willing to talk back to her, and she is actually quite lonely. Belphegor is taciturn, assiduous, and the most trusted of the sisters as furniture. However, that is partly because of her demonic desire to turn her masters into lazy pigs. In that sense, she could probably be the most demon-like of all the sisters. Mammon is unextraordinarily quick to take what she wants, and she never holds back, not even for her sisters. Her motto is to be greedy and have things all to herself. For this reason, most arguments between their sisters are sparked and instigated by her. However, among the sisters, she is the most honest about her own emotions, and most devoted to trying to please the opposite sex. Greedy but a hard worker, she will spare no effort to have a permanent monopoly on someone's affection. Beelzebub is the gourmet of the sisters and is known for being big, being a big and picky eater. Her personality is similar to Mammont. Ma madonna, qua sta veramente entrando la stanchezza. Non il sonno, ma la stanchezza. Her personality is similar to Mammont's, and they often vie to beat each other to the prize. She's also always talking about food, which makes her a calming influence among the sisters. However, she also has a disturbing desire to kidnap pretty boys and store them in the food cellar. Asmodeus. As the youngest of the sisters, Asmodeus is doted up by everyone. This might be why she alone is kept out of the way when the conversation turns a little saucy. In the hopes that her older sisters will accept her as an adult, she is constantly on the lookout for a boyfriend. However, she sets her sights too high and spends her days fantasizing about the prince who will never come. E abbiamo The Goats, low-level furniture, who wait on Beatrice. They are many in number, but have no individuality and rarely speak. They faithfully obey their master's orders. Closer in sensibility to animals than humans, they are surprisingly stupid and occasionally get their orders wrong. By nature, they have huge bodies, like minotaurs, and possessing incredible superhuman strength. They're low level as furniture, but the ability to summon them inexhaustibly is extremely useful. Vediamo se qua c'è qualcosa di diverso. Non mi sembra. No, questo è uguale. Ovviamente adesso sono in inglese, quindi non ho la memoria visiva, ma leggendo quello che c'è scritto. Sì, sono le stesse. Sì. Ok, va bene. Abbiamo mezz'ora ancora, dai. Sheesh. Aneki's hatred of cigarette is a real pain in the neck. Sorry. She's been grumpy since last night. Think you can let it slide? Aneki, per chi non sapesse, è tipo il nome per riferire, cioè uno di quei nomignoli che si danno alle sorelle maggiori, come Nissan per il caso del fratello maggiore. Aneki è il modo in cui Rudolph si è sempre riferito ad Eva. Nissan, proprio quello. Rudolph and Hideyoshi went out on the deck and took out some cigarettes. Eva had always hated the smell of cigarettes, but when she was in a bad mood, she got even more oversensitive. The two of them had attempted to spend some relaxed time smoking until they made it to the island, but they have gotten yelled at and chased out on the deck. Hideyoshi tried to use his lighter, but it didn't go out well with all the strong winds on the deck. Rudolph took out a Zippo with a stylish gesture and let Hideyoshi borrow the flame. When did you start smoking, Hideyoshi-Nisan? Just after the war. In the beginning I was rolling them. Then I started using what I was selling. Mi piace che hanno voluto dargli un pochino di accento così, un po' campagnolo, come quello che dovrebbe essere in giapponese. Un po' rozzo, ecco. Oh, so you were already smoking when you met Aneki? I bet she's always telling you to stop. Never listen to her. She's already completely given up on that. Looks like men gotta have to be stubborn. Hideyoshi laughed heartedly, but Rudolph chuckled. After being scolded by Eva and told to smoke outside, they had dejectedly fled to the deck together. There was almost no doubt she was under her thumb. He was under her thumb. The war è la guerra di Corea, ne avevano parlato, no? Che è iniziata nel 53 ed è finito perché lui è troppo giovane per la seconda guerra mondiale. Oddio, forse no. Però penso, avevano parlato di come il business di Hideyoshi era iniziato dopo la guerra di Corea. No, aspetta. Era quello di era quello di Kinzo che era cresciuto durante la guerra di Corea. E forse avevano detto qualcosa. Beh, immagino comunque sia la guerra di Corea. Siamo nell'86. Quanti anni avrà? Avrà 60 anni adesso, secondo me. Avrà 60 anni Hideyoshi. Non so quale altra guerra vicina al Giappone potrebbe essere. La seconda guerra mondiale non penso proprio. Sarebbe stato troppo giovane. Vabbè, comunque sì. A quanto pare lui ha iniziato la sua avventura vendendo sigarette e poi ha cominciato a fumarle. She isn't usually so short-tempered. She is usually a more gentle, quiet woman.
普段はもっと温和なおと
devo
なしい
fare
女
anche
なんやで。毎年こ
Every
の
year
日
she
になると
changes
人
when
が
this
変わ
day
りよるんや。
comes.
そうなんですか
Is that so?
俺らがよく知る
To me,
昔
she
からの
just
兄貴
looked
そのも
like
の
the
に見えます
Anarchy
ね
we've all known for so
そう
long.
や。
That's
後ろ
right.
宮家のエヴァに戻るんや。
She goes back to being Eva of the
で
Ushiromi
も
family.
それはわしと
But
一
that's
緒のエヴ
different
ァと
from
は
the
違
Eva
うん
who's
や。
with me.
まあ
Well, I can understand why she's grumpy.
今回は親族
This family conference is going to be a
そうや
pain.
な。
So
あの
it
ク
sure
ラウ
is.
ス兄さんから
That
金を
plan
脅し取ろうっ
to
ていう計
threaten
画や。
money out of Kraus
親
Nissan.
族会議なんて名ばかり
It's
の
a family
これは
conference
ただの
only
兄
in
弟
name.
喧嘩
Really,
や。
it's just a fight between siblings. With the family conference ahead of them, the three siblings, excluding Kraus, had made a secret contract. Each of them had a pressing situation to deal with and urgently needed a lot of money. And the only one who could help them was Kraus. Ah, vedi che adesso qua è Kraus, come l'ho sempre letto io, non Klaus. Vabbè. Kraus. Adesso mi dispiace gente, noi avremo altri 6 episodi di Kraus. Klaus, dimenticatevelo. Was Kraus, who spoke for the Ushiromi ahead, since Kinzo was shut up in his study. Sì, ma oddio, è vero, però dubito, sì, non penso che ci fosse, ecco, importante bisogno, cioè importanti forze giapponesi nella guerra del Vietnam. Vabbè. They had long felt that Kraus had started taking advantage of Kinzo's loss of interest in his own wealth and was embezzling that wealth for his own use. When everything had been going well for the siblings, even though they had just found it detestable, they had pretended not to notice. But now that they needed money, they couldn't just quietly accept that. Eva called Rudolf and Rosa into an alliance, and they were planning to exploit that knowledge in order to draw money out of Kraus. Questo lo sapevamo.
わしもそしてル
Rudolf
ドルフ君も社
both you
長
and
や。
I are company
社員
presidents.
の生活
We are
を背負っと
responsible
る
for
ん
the
や。
livelihood of our employees.
ローザも社長ですよ
Rosa is a president too. Well,
道楽ですね
as a hobby.
そうやな。失
That's
礼。
right. Sorry.
つまり
In short, all of us are bearing some burden.
俺も幹部連中の前で単価を切って
Now that I've thrown the gauntlet down in front of the executive board, I've got to bring the money, even if it means I have to grovel or drink mud.
お互い様や。
Nya nya. Same
わしも
here.
わし
I
を
can't
信じてつ
betray
い
my
てきてくれた
employees
社員たちを
who
裏切れ
trusted。me and followed me for so long.
それこそ
That's why I gotta get some money
クラウ
out
ス
of
兄
Kraus
さんの首根っこを
Nissan,
掴んで
even if
でも
I
金を
have
引っ
to
張り出さんとい
grab
か
him
んの
by
や。
the neck.
兄貴は昔から
Aniki has always been at odds with Aniki. Aniki è sorella, Aniki è tipo fratello maggiore. È uno dei modi per dirlo.
その兄貴と全面対決しなく
And
ちゃなら
now
ねえ
she
んだ
has
か
to
ら
have a full-on conversation with him.
そりゃカリカリ
That's probably enough to make her grumpy.
やっぱりエヴァはク
So
ラウ
Eva
ス兄
has
さんと
always
は昔
been
から
on
仲
bad
が
terms
悪
with
かったん
Crown
か。
Nissan, huh?
本人話しませんか
She doesn't talk to you about it.
そりゃもう盛
Definitely.
大に
Yeah, in a really big way. She won't
昔
tell
の
me
話
about
は
the past,
聞いて
even
も
if I
話して
ask.
くれんのや。
She probably doesn't want to
思い
remember.
出したい話がないんやろな。
Il fatto che la L e la R sono intercambiabili alla fine, quindi.
容量も良くて頭が良かった。
Aniki has always been smart and
成
shrewd.
績も良かった。
Her grades were good
それに
too.
比べ、兄貴は
Compared to
盆
that,
栽だ。
Aniki was just
ただ
average.
そばにいるだけで
Her
も
just
十分
being
に
there
プレッシャ
beside
ー
him
だったろう。
should have been enough pressure, but
Aniki は
Aniki kept
わざわざそ
boasting
れを
about
誇
it
示
and
して
driving Aniki
兄
into
貴
a
を追い
corner.
詰めていた。
アホやな。
Silly
な
girl.
んでそんな
Why
敵
be
が
openly
引き出
hostile
して
like
追い
that
詰め
and
るんや。
driving me into a corner?
そういうのは容量がい
That's
いと
not
は
being
言わん。
shrewd. Seriously.
兄貴は
Aniki regretted
女に言
being
われたこ
born
と
a
を悔やんで
woman.
た。だから
She probably
男と
couldn't
いうだけ
forgive
の理由
Aniki
で
for getting to
闘志を
succeed
するこ
ahead
とが
just
決まって
because
い
he
る
was a
兄貴
man.
が。だからことあるごとに
So
自
she's
分
always
の方が優秀
she'd
であると
always take every opportunity to boast to dad that she was superior.
お父さんは古いタイプのお
Father
人や。
really is an old-fashioned person.
男女には差別
He
的な価値
values
観を持
his
っとっ
values
た。
discriminate between men and women.
自己
women.
顕示の強いエヴァは
You think that father
Sure,
disliked
sure.
Eva a bit
嫌われて
since
た
she
んとちゃう
likes
か？
to make herself conspicuous? Sì, ma come sappiamo che Kinzo è un gran maschilista. Patriarcale. Bastardo.
Don't
Don't you think that schooling for women is like sugar in black tea? Without it is bland, but too much of it ruins the tea. Since you can still drink black tea without sugar, it was exactly the same as saying that study was unnecessary for a woman. Those infuriating words were ones that my older brother had abused me with when I had been in despair, wanting to go to college but denied by father. I had protested that advancing to college was essential if I was to acquire the education and class befitting the eldest daughter of the Uchiromiya family. But the replies I received from father and my brother were, in summary, exactly the same. How conceited for a woman. Since the time I was born into the Uchiromiya family, I hadn't taken that name lightly even once, and furthermore, nor had I been taking lightly father's name, Uchiromiya Kinzo. It was an old family with a long history, but it had lost all of its wealth and its business in the Great Kanto earthquake, and almost sank for a time. Then father, with ingenious talent, had taken control and revived it to be even greater than it had been before. I hadn't forgotten even once what it meant to be the daughter of the great Uchiromiya Kinzo. Therefore, I had always made every effort to become worthy of that name, class-worthy of the Uchiromiya family, schooling, manners, and leadership. Even if I was far from reaching father's level, I deepened my knowledge in economics and finance and tried to improve myself so that I could help out with that at any time. However, in the end, there never came a time where father acknowledged that. To father, a woman was only meant to support a man, and nothing further than that was permissible. I wonder when it was that I understood that. I probably understood ever since I was a young girl, but to truly accept it, I had to wait until I'd grown up. Compared to my own effort, you could have said that Kraus, as my older brother by 2 years, tried at all to become deserving of the Uchiromiya family. Ever since we were young, my brother kept saying that it was natural that he succeeded father just because he was born a man. He kept repeating that as though it were an absolute gap between us. I couldn't stand it, even though I always got better grades than my brother, though I became class president while he was stuck as vice president of his class. Even so, my brother was considered to be the appropriate person to succeed the Uchiromiya family, just because he was a man. Of course, you could get away with gender discrimination in those days. No, it was even considered a virtue in those days. It was a time when women were looked down upon. It was said that when a woman is born, she is to obey her parents. When she gets married, she is to obey her husband. And when she gets old, she is to obey her children. Just because that way of thinking existed, I wanted to overturn it. Innocently, I kept trying to prove that I was the most fit. However, eventually, I realized that all of my efforts were doomed from the beginning. Do you think that schooling for women is like sugar in black tea? Without it is bland, but too much of it ruins the tea. What do you mean by that, Nisan? It's the same way, in the same way that there are things that only men can do, there are things that only women can do, are there not? I think things like giving birth to children, raising them, and supporting their husbands can only be done by women. Are you trying to say that there's no need for a woman to do things like work and study? I wouldn't go that far. Unschooled women are just tiring just to talk to. However, women who are too smart are even more tiring. I think that a woman like you, who vehemently asserts herself, will cause her future husband a lot of trouble. Are you trying to say that a woman must marry and stay in the shadow of their husband? That's none of your business. I admire you as my little sister for feeling that you should respect father and become a proper daughter to him. Even I can respect that. Disgusting. What is this watashi, neutral polar? Okay. You always use ore. Are you already pretending to be head? It was decided that I would succeed the head from the beginning, and you yet seem to be laboring under the illusion that you can become the head. You have just been making useless and reckless attempts to do that. Reckless attempts, you say? Is my saying that I want to go... Is my saying that I want to go to college really that odd? Yes, it's odd. Indeed, you are the eldest daughter of the glorious Ushiromiya family. Eventually, you will bear the responsibility of the family crest, and to be wed to the partner who is most valuable for father. However, what will be demanded of you, then, is not an excess of knowledge. It is a gentle feeling to care for your husband and the ability in housework, and it is a humble demeanor that will support the master of your household. You are completely lacking in all those things. In the end, there is a proper way for a... In the end, is that really proper for a daughter of the Ushiromiya family? I have no intention of being a secluded daughter. I just want to be the best person who can help father with his work. Well, in that case, should I not be aiming to become a worthy as daughter of the Ushiromiya family? What is it to you? Even at this age, you still act like a man. You are careless with housework and cooking, and you never wear any makeup to please men. Recently, I've heard that you've been training to learn how to brawl. That's rude. It isn't brawling. The martial arts are a perfect training for the mind. And at the proper time, I can act like a woman well enough. What are you trying to say? That women should be slaves who work for men? That women must not step out in front? Is that what you're trying to say? It isn't an elegant way to admit that. It isn't elegant to admit that. And in order to correct your mistake, I think that a few unpleasant words are necessary. So let me say it plainly. Women exist to serve men. And men exist to cultivate women. A woman's job is to protect a man's back, to protect their house and raise their children. Normally, they don't have to be told that to realize it. They realize it by being by themselves. But no matter how old you get, you haven't realized that about yourself. So as your brother, I will clear that misunderstanding for you before you exit this house into society. You should thank me.
それは全ての女への侮辱よ。いや、
No way.
いいえ。
I have never thought of
私は自分
myself
の
as
こ
a
とを
woman.
女だと思った
I've
ことな
never
どないし、
depended on
女
anyone
だから
just
と甘
because
えた
I'm
こ
a
となど
woman.
一度もない。私のどこが兄さ
How
んに
am I
劣っているとい
inferior
う
to
の？
you, Nissan?
成績も経
In
歴も
grades, in
何もかも
accomplishments,
私の方が
I'm
勝っ
better
てい
than
て、
you in everything.
ただ男
So
であ
how
る以
can
上
you
の
look
何も持
down
たな
on
い
me
兄さ
when
ん
you
が
don't have
私の
anything
何
I
を見下
don't?
せるっていうの
Except
よ。
being a man.
身の程をわきまえているか否
It's
か
about whether or not you know your
私
place.
は次の当主
Every
として
day
の
I have
心
been
構えを
raised
日
so
々
that I
養っ
would
て
be
いる
prepared to be the next
そ
head.
れは将来
In the
必ず
future,
必要にな
that
る
will
ことだ
definitely be essential.
だがお前
But
は
you are
違う
different.
嫁ぎ
Even though you
後
will
ろ宮
marry
の
and
席を
lose the
失うこと
Ushiramiya
が決まっ
family
ている
name,
くせに
you keep saying this
見る
illusion
必
that
要
you
のない
don't need to
幻を見
see.
ている何がそんなに不満
What
な
are
の
you so unsatisfied
仮に
about?
男に生まれ
Even
よう
if you
と
were born a man, I
当主
still
を継ぐの
wouldn't
はお
be
前ではないだろ
who
う
if you were born a man, it still wouldn't be you who succeeded as the
お前
head.
は何がそんなにも
What's
不
so
満で私
unsatisfying
に
that
突
you
っ
keep
かかってく
attacking
る
me?
のか
何が不満かです
So
って？
unsatisfying, you say?
兄さんはいつもい
Listen,
つ
you
も
are always,
いつもいつもいつも
always.
自分は当主は
You
特技だ
claim
から
yourself as the
私を
successor.
見下
Look
して、
down on me.
そのくせ。
Lascio un attimo ovviamente lo spazio ai doppiatori qua. You claim yourself as the successor, look down on me, and despite that... What's so unsatisfying, he says. A billion grudges, hard feelings, humiliation that I'll never forget crossed through the back of my mind. All of them built up at the same time, coming out of my throat as nothing more than a shameful moan.
何事か想像し
What's all this noise?
沈黙を尊ぶのは
God isn't the
神
only
だけ
one
で
who
はないぞ
values silence.
お父さん
Father, Father. Our siblings' fight was probably overheard. Father entered with a clearly displeased
フラウ
face.
スま
Raus,
た兄弟
are
喧
you
嘩か
fighting with your siblings
お
again?
前にはなぜに
Why do you
弟や
not have
妹
the
たちを
dignity
率
to
いる
lead
貫
your
禄が
siblings?
宿らぬのか情けない
How shameful.
長男が聞い
You
て
are
は
a
切れる
joke of an eldest son. In a flash, he struck Kraus's face. I prepared myself to be struck in the same way, but I wasn't hit.
申し訳ありません
My
お父
apologies,
さん
Father.
お前に足りぬのは
Dignity
貫
isn't
禄
the
だけ
only
では
thing
ない
that you lack.
まだまだ
There's
足
so
りぬ
much more.
何もかも
You're
未
immature
熟
in
だ
everything.
にもかか
And
わら
even
ず
so,
一
you
人前を
pretend
気取
like
って
you're
は
an adult.
それを語るには
Realize
100
that
年
it's
早いことを
100 years
肝
too
に
early
銘
for
じ
you to talk
研
like
鑽
that and
に努
devote
めよ
yourself to your studies.
わしをこれ以上
Don't
息
make
子
me
の
lament
不出
my
来で
son's
嘆かせるでないぞ
incompetence anymore.
はい
Yes,
お父さんの後を継
I
ぐに
will
ふさわし
continue
い
to
人間に
strive
なれ
so
る
that I can become a person
さらに努
worthy
力します
to succeed you, Father. It was as if those words were directed at me. Even when he was being yelled at by Mamma mia. Even when he was being yelled at by Father, he was still bragging to me about how he was special, how he was to be the successor. Cool. I just couldn't stand it. I finally spoke what's on my mind. Even though I realized that this was improper for a person of the Ushiramiya family.
お父様、
Father,
教えてください。
please tell me,
私の何が劣って
how
いる
am
と
I
いうのですか？
inferior?
私は
Until
お
today
父
I've
様の名
tried
に
so
恥じない
hard,
人間になれるよ
studied
う
so hard to
今日
become
ま
a
であらゆる
person
勉
who
強
will
と
not
努
shame
力を
your
重ねて
name.
まいりました。どうか私にも
Please tell me,
何が劣
in
っている
what
のか
way
お教
am I
えください。
inferior?
私はこれ以
How
上
can I improve
何を
myself
身
so
につ
that
けたなら
you will
お父
accept
様に
me?
認めていただけるのですか？
またその
Are
話
you
か
still talking about
お
that?
前には何
How
と言え
many
ばわかる
times
の
do
だ
I have to
お
tell
前
you?
に期待して
I
いる
have
こと
no
など何もない
expectation for you whatsoever.
女は
A
女ら
woman
しく
should
料理
just
や裁
learn
縫を
cooking
学
and
んでおればいい
sewing like a woman.
貴様には
You
女の
have
心
none of the
構えが
necessary
ないのだ
attitudes of a woman.
夫に仕え
I
よう
can
とする
sense any
気
of
心
the disposition
男
needed
に
to
尽くそ
serve
う
a
という
husband,
海
the
外
heart
さ
to
が
devote
全
yourself
く
to a
感じられ
man.
ぬ何のための
What
女
good
なの
are
か
you as a
後ろ
woman?
宮家の
Do
霊
you
場である
realize
こ
that
と
you
を
are
自
the
覚
daughter
し
of
て
the
おるの
Ushiramiya
か
family?
なのに
And
学び
yet,
た
the
がる
only
こ
thing
とは
you want
男
is
の
to
真似
learn
事
to
ば
how
か
to
り
act like a
お前
man.
の役割はク
Your
ラウ
duty
ス
is
の
not
真
to
似
act
事では
like
ないのだ
Klaus.
ぞお前には
Do you
自ら
even
の役割
understand
が
your
分か
own
っているの
duty?
か
私は
As a person of the
後ろ
Yushiromiya
宮家の人
family,
間として
I want to embarrass your name.
その時点
That's
でもう
right
間違
there.
っておるわ
That's right. Right there. You're already wrong.
貴様の役
Your
割は
duty
家
is
を
to
出て
marry
嫁
out
ぎわし
of
に
the
とって
family
有益な
and
男を
bring me a
連れて
man
く
who
る
is
ことだ
profitable to me.
そして夫に尽く
And
し
then
幸
devote
運
yourself
に
to your
増や
husband.
せ
Be fruitful and multiply.
夫の一族
Be
に
a
褒
good
め
wife
たたえ
who
られる
brings
良
praise to
妻
your
であれ
husband's family.
お前に
What
男を
can you
喜ばせる
do
何
that
が
is
できると
capable
い
of
うの
pleasing a
か
man?
茶の作法
Do you
があ
think
る
you
と
can
いう
make
の
tea?
料理の才
Do you
能
have
がある
any
という
talent
の
in
か
cooking?
何もない
You have
お
nothing.
前がやっている
All
の
you
は
have
みん
done
な
is
クラ
try
ウ
to
スの
act
真似
like
事ば
Klaus.
後ろ宮家はクラ
Klaus
ウ
will
スが
succeed
強い
Yushiromiya
お
family.
前がそれ
If
に
you
不
are
満を
unsatisfied
唱え
with
る
that,
という
then you
の
are
なら
disobeying
それ
me.
はこの私に逆らうということだお前は
Are you
我が
saying
娘
that
で
you
あり
won't
なが
even
ら
listen
父
to
の
what
言う
I
ことを
say?
聞けぬという
Even
の
though
か
you're my daughter?
出て行け
Get
感
out.
動だ
You're
お
disinherited.
前に
I
後ろ
won't
宮な
let
ど
you use the
語らせ
name
ん
Yushiromiya.
感動だ感動だ
Disinherited, disinherited.
お父さんしっかり
Father, stay
落ち着い
strong.
てください
Please calm
源
down.
氏さん
Kenji-san, could you bring some water?
はい
Yes,
ただいま
immediately.
エヴァ席を外せ
Leave this place.
本心ではないさ
He doesn't mean what he says.
私がなだめて
I
お
will
く
calm him down.
感動だ私の言う
Disinherited.
ことが聞
If
け
you
んだ
want to listen to me, you're disinherited. As father struggled with a fit of heavy cough, my brother patted his back, as if that were naturally his duty. It was so vexing for me to let him monopolize that duty. If I'd approached father carelessly, I would probably be hit again. However, I fearless tried to approach father's back. Genji
エヴァ
blocked
様
me.
今は
Eva-sama.
席をお外し
It
にな
would
られ
be
た方が良い
probably
でしょう
it would probably be better if you stepped outside for now.
親方様は
The
今日は
master
ご
is
機嫌
not
が
in a
よくあ
good
りませ
mood
ん
today. But
なぜに私の息子たちはこ
why
う
are
も
my
不敵
children
な
so
のかクラ
incompetent?
ウスは貫禄が
Klaus
足り
is
ずエ
lacking
ヴァ
in
はいつまで
dignity.
たっても
Eva
ジャジ
never
ャ馬
moved
だ
on from being a stubborn tomboy.
男らしい男は
I
お
have
らず
no
女
manly
ら
son,
しい女
not even a
もい
womanly
ない
daughter.
私の育て方が
Where
い
did I
つ
go
どこで
wrong
どう
about
間違
raising
ったのなぜだ源
Why,
氏
Genji?
私は何を
When
いつ
and
どこで
where
どう間違えた
and
という
how
の
did I
か
go wrong?
親方様は
My
何もお
lord,
間違いになって
you
はお
have
りま
not
せん
you have done nothing
クラ
wrong.
ウス様は
Klaus-sama
た
has
くまし
grown
い
into
ご
a
子息
sturdy son, and
エヴァ様
Eva-sama
は
into
麗
a
しい
lovely
ご令嬢
daughter.
に何もお間違いに
You
はな
haven't
ってお
made
りま
any
せん
mistakes.
あれのどこ
In what way?
どこが
In
麗しい
what
と
way
いうの
is
か
she lovely?
淑女どころか
Far from
男
a
の真
lady,
似事
lady,
ば
she's
かり
always acting like a man.
感動だ感動だ
Disinherited, disinherited.
お父さん
Father,
それは私か
I
ら
was just
よ
warning
くエヴァ
Eva
に言い
about
聞
that
かせた
very
ところ
thing.
ですエヴァもこれから
Eva
は
too
心を入
promised
れ
that
替
she
え
wouldn't, that she
レ
would
ディー
have
として
a change
振る
of
舞う
heart
と
and
約束して
began
くれました
acting like a lady.
どうかもう少しの猶予
Couldn't you
をいただけません
postpone
か
that for just a little longer?
何がレディー
Lady,
だ
my foot.
感動だ感動だ
Not bad. Disinherited, disinherited. Go quickly, I'll handle this for you. Kraus gave me a look telling me that. Bene. Did I take the wrong path, just like father and my brother had said? They were right, and that I had never studied how to be a lady. Everything I've learned was because I hoped that I could help father someday. Wait, was that really the case? Hadn't I always had a growing sense of rivalry with my brother, with whom I'd had a bad relationship since I was a young girl? And wasn't I just trying to get the better of him by stealing his position as a successor to the head? Every time my brother told me that men should be manly and women should be womanly, I had been tormented by this unreasonable discrimination because of my sex, something I was born with and couldn't do anything about. I had resisted, had endeavored to study until today, so that I could prove that I wasn't inferior, even though I was a woman. In that case, wasn't the basis of my love of learning just a boring inferiority complex towards my brother? Father had expected me to be a lady with whom he could go out in public and not be embarrassed. Had I betrayed the expectation and earned grades to intimidate my brother just to clear away that pent-up resentment from my childhood? That's not it.
私が後宮家の跡継ぎになるんだって。あなたは私に誓ったわ。
You vowed to me that I would become the successor of the Ushiromiya family.
あんたは
You, the one who came whispering to me, was myself, born in my heart on the day I made that vow, myself on that day as a little girl. That's right, she was my only ally. Whenever I was suffering, whenever I felt like I could take no more, she would always quietly appear and take my side. Whenever I found myself with my head in my hands, stumbling over difficult problems, she would always appear and support me. As I had grown and forgotten my time as a girl, I had also begun to forget my conversations with her.
私、後宮エヴァは
I,
絶対に後宮家の当主になるの。
Emma, cambiato nome. I, Ushiromiya Eva, will definitely become the head of the Ushiromiya
そ
family.
して、あの
And
ム
I'll
カつく高
triumph
慢
over
ち
the
きなクラウスを見
irritating,
返してやる
arrogant
の。
Kraus.
そのために一緒に
On
頑張ろう
that
って
day, we
あの
promised to
日
do our
私た
best
ちは約
together
束
to
した
achieve
わ。
that.
そうね、
That's
約
right,
束したわ。
we promised.
私は
On
後
that
宮家の
day,
当主後継ぎに
that
な
I
るっ
would
て。
become the successor
あ
to
の
the
日に
head.
ね。
On that day, when I had been overcome with sadness, wondering why I was even alive, you appeared inside me and lent me your strength.
お父様に認められたかった。
I wanted father to accept
兄
me.
さんの鼻を明
I
かしてやり
wanted
た
to
か
get
っ
the
た。
better of my brother.
そうすれば
I believed
惨め
that
な自分に
if I
決
could
別が
do
できる
that,
と
I
信
could
じてい
forever
たわ。
part ways with that wretched part of myself. In those days, I had really believed that I had no other purpose in life than to be looked down upon by my brother. It is painful just remembering those days, the wound, the tear that split open in my heart. She taught me how to sew up that wound. I would change my anger into effort and improve myself, become a person more worthy to be the head than Kraus was, and triumph over him by making father accept me, the perfect revenge. I knew more or less that a woman couldn't succeed the head, but if I could become so superior that I could overturn that, then surely even father would select me to be his successor. If that happened, then I could just have the greatest, ultimate, most perfect revenge against my brother, who always acted like it was completely natural for him to succeed the head. Right.
そうすれば私たちの心の傷は癒えるの。
If we do that, then the wounds in our hearts will be healed.
その日まで頑張ろうって誓い
We
合ったわ。
promised each other that we would do our best until that day come.
なのに、あなたはそ
And
の
yet,
約束を破
you're
るの。
breaking this promise?
クズ、
Scum.
育児なし、へ
Coward.
そかんで死んじゃえば
Oh, queste parole. Why not just give up and die forever? Even though she has the form of my younger self, she's still another me. And she has a sharp tongue. After all, she's me.
自分に言われて
It
も腹
really
が立つ
makes
わ
me
ね。
mad hearing that from
そこ
myself.
までボロクソに言わ
You
れる
have
筋合
no
いはない
right to
わ。
speak of me like that.
ならばその怒りを勉強に費やしましょうよ。
Then let's use that anger and learn from it.
怒りを力に変えるの
Changing
が私
anger
の
into
魔法。
power is my magic.
この力で何度もあなたの窮地を救い、あなたはなせないはずのことを成し遂げてきた。
I saved you from several predicaments with that power and allowed you to achieve things that should have been impossible for you.
私の魔法がある限り
As long as you have
あなた
my
にできない
magic,
ことなどあ
there's
りはし
nothing
ないわ
you can't do.
そうね
That's
怒
right.
りはいつも私の原動
Anger
力だっ
has
たわ
always been my driving
い
force.
つからそれを忘
I
れてしま
wonder
ったの
when
か
it
しら
was that I forgot that.
私を思い出せたなら
If
あ
you
の
have
魔法の力
remembered
は
me
再び
again,
私たち
that
のもの
magic is ours once more.
そ
Come
の
on,
怒りを
let's
力
turn
に変
that
えて
anger
も
into
っともっ
power
と勉強に
and
励みましょ
endeavor
う
in our studies even more, alright?
きっと私たちにはまだまだ勉強が
I'm
足りな
sure
いのよ
that we still have a lot more studying that we need to do.
大学院に進んでもっといっぱい勉
Let's
強
go to
して
college, study
優れた
more
成
and
績
more,
を出して
get
ク
excellent
ラウスを
grades,
追い詰めてやり
and
ましょう
drive Klaus into a corner.
あいつなんでもなさそう
That
な
guy
顔し
makes
て
a
るけ
face
ど
as though we're
きっと
nothing,
心は
but
相
I'm
当追い
sure
詰
he
められ
feels
てる
pretty
わ
well cornered in his heart.
早く身の程を思い知っ
If only
て
he
死ん
would
じゃ
just
えばい
learn
いの
his
に
place and die.
そうすれば
If he
私た
did,
ち
we
が
could
当主に
become
な
the
れる
head.
ルドルフは辞退してくれるわ
Rudolph would be nice enough to
あ
decline.
の子は私には
That
逆
kid
らえないもの
can't go against us.
も
Stop
うこれ
that.
以上
Even
勉
if I
強しても
study more,
お
Father
父様は
still
私を
won't
認めてくれ
accept
ないの
me.
よどうして
Why?
お父様は
Father is
私に
telling
女ら
me
しく
to
しろと言って
be
いるのよ
womanly.
私がどれだけ
No
頑張ろ
matter
う
how
と
hard I try,
女で
as
ある
long as
限
I'm
り
a woman,
たとえ
Father
私
will
が兄
never
さんより
pass
先に生まれてい
the
たとしても
headship to me.
私に当主を
Even
譲ることは
if
ない
I'd
の
been
よ
born before Nisan,
私がどれだけ努力を
no
重
matter
ねよ
how
うとも
much effort I put in, I
私は
can't
女以
become
上の何
anything
者
more
にも
than
な
a
れない
woman.
認められない
I won't be accepted.
何の努力もしない
I
兄さんを
can't
超えられ
surpass
ない
Nisan. Who doesn't
永
try
遠
at
に
all?
見下され続ける
I will always be looked down upon.
お父様もクラウスも最低の男尊主義者だわ
Father and Kraus are the worst kind of male
早く
supremacists.
死んじゃえばいいのに
I wish they'd just fucking die already. She would curse in my place. Words that I couldn't say carelessly, she would say for me. Even though I understood that she was just another part of myself inside of me, I felt like she was the only ally I had who would sympathize with me. However, while sympathy might calm my heart somewhat, it wouldn't do anything to improve my current situation. In the end, she could only console me when I was dejected by reality and for the amount of time I needed to accept it.
ありがとう
Thank
もう
you.
結構よ
That's enough now.
こうとなったら
Now
お
let's
父様
come
が
to
驚
this.
くような淑女に
I'll
なってい
become
るわ
such a good lady that I'll surprise
兄さんなん
father.
かとは比べ
I'll
物に
find
なら
an
ない
excellent
立派な
man that
男を探し
Nissan
て
can be compared with.
ダメそんなの
No, that's no good. She rejected my timid thoughts. I know why. Because she is me. I know
お父
why.
様は少なくとも今は女に
Father
同志を
says,
継がせないと
or
言
at,
っている
or at least right now, he says, that he won't let a woman succeed
で
ahead.
もそれすらも所詮
But
は
that's
お
never
父
been
様が決めたル
anything
ール
more
でし
than
か
a
ないの
rule that father decided
お
on.
父様が決めた以上
Since father
それを破棄で
decided
きるのもお
on,
父
he
様
can abolish it.
人の気持ちなど浜
People's
の政子が
feelings
尽
can
きるより
change
はるかに
many
早
more
く変わる
times than
わ
there are grains of sand on a beach.
クラウスが愚鈍な
Even
男で
if
あ
we
るこ
don't
とは
prove that Kraus
私
is
た
a
ちが立証
stupid
しなくて
man,
も
father
やが
will
てお父様
eventually
も理解
realize
する
it.
その時男女の
At
境
that
の
time,
くだらない
the
垣根はそれを設けたお父様によって取り払われるの
At that time, the ridiculous wall that separates man from woman will be demolished by father, who set it up in the first
その
place.
日は必ず来るわ
That day will surely come.
どうして必ずなんて言える
How
の
can you say it so surely?
それが私の
Because that
魔
is
法だから
my magic.
あなたが信じてくださえすればこの
If
魔
you'll
法は
just
必ず
believe,
奇跡を呼ぶ
this
の
magic will surely create a miracle.
私の魔法の源はあ
The
なたの
basis of my
信じる
magic
心
is
だけ
nothing more than your believing heart. Okay. The basis of my magic is nothing more than your believing heart. If I can use that magic, then surely until the day I die, I'll never have to doubt that someday I will become the head. But I don't know if that's the right thing for Ushiromi Eva. Shouldn't I aim to become that kind of lady that father hoped for? Someone he can take out into society and boast about? Father might take a better view of me if I were reborn. Maybe my brother could find his own lifestyle and I could find mine. Besides, no matter what, I can just imagine that my father, stubborn as he is, would not only allow a woman to succeed the head, but also skip my older brother and select me for headship.
信じないの？
You don't believe?
あのね、
I was
私思った
just
の。
thinking.
私には当主は告げ
Maybe
な
I
いかもしれ
can't
ないけれ
succeed the head, but as
私
a
は
woman
女
I
で
can have a
子
child.
を産むことができ
And
る。
Nissan still isn't
そして兄
engaged.
さんには未だ縁談もない。もし兄さんに子
If
供ができず、
Nissan doesn't manage to have
私だけが
children
子
and
供を産
I
めたな
do,
ら、
that wouldn't the
兄さんの
next
次の
head
当主
after
は私の
Nissan
子
be
供と
my
いうことにな
child?
るでしょ。それはつまり、
Wouldn't that basically
私が兄さん
mean
から
the
当
same
主の座を
thing as
奪うのと
stealing
同
the
じ意味
headship
になら
from
ないかしら。
Nissan?
本気で言ってるの？
Are you serious? Yes,
本気よ。
I'm serious.
少女時代からの決意
It
を捨てる
will
のは確か
indeed
に
be
とても
quite
悲しい
sad
こ
to
と。
throw away the determination from my years as a young
私の
girl.
少女時代
It
その
would
もの
pain
で
my
あな
heart
た
to
を裏
betray
切るの。
you, my younger self.
でも、
But
それ
this
が
way
一
is
番
the
現
most
実的なのよ。
realistic. In that moment, my body changed. I was no longer myself from back then, but as I am now, a wife and mother. Yes, this is a dream. Even so, she still possessed the same ambition and desire as always, and she argued back with her expression displaying clear displeasure at this change.
夢を捨てるの？
Are you throwing away your dreams?
そして私も捨てるの？
And are you even throwing me away?
捨てるんじゃない。
I'm not throwing anything away.
私も大人になって
It's just
あ
that
なたと決
I
別
have
する日が
become
来
an
たという
adult,
ことよ。
and the time has come for us to go our separate ways.
そうね。
That's
エヴァ
right.
はもう大人になったわ。
You've already become an adult.
魔法の使い方さえ
You've
忘れてし
even
まった。
forgotten how to use magic.
今は一児の母。
You are now the mother of a
自
child.
ら夢を叶える魔法
You've
を忘れ
forgotten
去
the
って。
magic that
その
can
夢を息子に押
grant
し
your
付けている。
own dreams, and you are pushing those dreams onto your son.
自らの人生をお父
Even
様
though
や
you
クラ
had
ウス
your
によっ
own
てめちゃく
life
ちゃにさ
messed
れたく
up
せに
with so
あな
much
たも
by
自ら
father
の
and
夢を息
Kraus.
子に押し付けてめちゃくちゃにしようとしているの。
You're trying to push your dreams onto your son and mess with his life too.
それが大人というものなの？
Is that what being an adult is all about?
ジョージはどこに出
George
して
is
も
my
恥ずか
pride
しく
and
ない自
joy,
慢の息子
who
よ。
wouldn't embarrass me no matter where he goes.
私には叶えられなかった
The
夢を
dream wasn't
ジョー
granted
ジなら叶えられるかもしれ
me.
ない。
The dream that wasn't granted me might be granted to
ジェ
George.
シカなんて成績も貧困
Jessica
も不良じゃ
grades
な
and
い。
behavior aren't good at all.
それに女な
And
の
she's a
よ。
woman.
ジェシカさえ辞退
If
してくれ
only
れば
Jessica would
ジョー
step
ジが後継ぎ
down,
になることだっ
George
て。
could become their heir. My heart pained even as I said it. Aren't I just forcing my own regrets on George? I don't have any right to disparage Jessica, and to hit her with the same words that had caused me so much suffering is just horrible. I understand. Wanting to triumph over my brother was nothing more than my personal revenge. I mustn't use George for that.
だから私自らが復
I'll
讐す
take
る。
revenge myself.
ルドルフとローザを味方に。
I have a plan to cheat
Nissan
Nissan out of some of his money with Rudolph and Rosa as my allies.
きっと一矢報いるこ
I'll
とが
surely
でき
be
るわ。
able to get back at him.
何しろ。
I mean, there's no doubt that Nissan is
つ
embezzling
まみ
father's
食いしているのは
assets.
確かなんだから。つまんない計
What
画
a。boring plan.
そんなのさっさとやめて泣き寝入りでもしちゃえば？
Why don't you just give up and cry yourself to sleep forever?
私たちは後ろ宮家の当
We
主に
will
なるの。
become the head of the Ushiromiya
その
family.
夢をごまかさな
Don't
い
try
で。
to confuse that
だ
dream.
から絶対に叶え
So
られる
believe
と
that we
私を
can
信じて。
definitely achieve it.
私の魔法を
Believe in my
信じて。
magic.
信じたら
If I believe,
魔法は
will the
力を
magic
持つの
have
かしら。
power, I wonder? Yes.
私の魔法は
My magic can grant any wish without fail.
信じるわ。
I'll believe.
信じるから。
I'll believe.
その魔法で奇
So
跡を起
create
こ
a
して。
miracle with that magic.
そうでなくちゃ
If you don't, the hole in my heart
私の心の
will
傷
never
は
heal.
永久に癒されない。
Yes.
よく聞い
Then
て。
listen well
私の魔法の
to
言
my
葉。
magic words
そしてそれを理
and
解して。
understand them. If we can solve the riddle, we can become the
私たちは
Ushiromiya
後ろ宮
family
家の
head.
当主になれるの。だから。
So, lend me your ears and listen carefully. Che chill sta musica. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. Questo è l'epigrafe, le prime righe dell'epigrafe. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. Effettivamente questo è quello che Beatrice ha sempre detto, comunque.
エヴァ姉さん
Un attimo, Kiri. Effettivamente questo è sempre quello che Beatrice ha detto in entrambi gli episodi che abbiamo finito di leggere. Chi risolve il... come si dice? Chi risolve il puzzle, l'epitaffio, l'epigrafe della strega, riceverà tutto l'oro e diventerà la nuova head. Quindi, se effettivamente Eva vuole così ardentemente diventare la nuova head, il nuovo capo della famiglia Ushiromiya, dovrebbe mettersi lì e risolvere l'epigrafe. Eva
そろそろ
Nissan,
着くみたいです
it
ね
looks like we're about to arrive. As her shoulder was tapped by Kyrie, Eva jumped and awoke from her doze.
ごめんなさいね
Oh, I'm sorry.
寝ぼけてたわ
I was half asleep.
驚かせてしまってごめんなさい
Sorry
ね
for surprising you.
エヴァおばさん
Auntie Eva, you were how cold.
朝はだいぶ早かっ
Did
た
you
んです
get
か
up early this morning?
まあね
I suppose.
恥ずかしいところを見せ
How
ちゃったわ
embarrassing. I must have looked quite
ご
disgraceful.
めんなさい
I'm sorry.
眠れるくらい余裕があるのは
Pretty
大した
impressive
もん
you're
だ
relaxed
ぜ。
enough to sleep though.
バートラなんか
Not like Batra who has been yelling the whole time he was going to fall and drown.
全く退屈しないや
Can't
つだ
get
ぜ。
bored with this dude around.
うるせえな
Shut up!
人間誰しも
Everyone has one of two things they don't like. Butler and Jessica went back out, squabbling merrily. Rudolph also made a face as if asking, "Are you alright?
しっかりしろよ
Get a hold of
私た
yourself."
ちの顔を見れば
When you see the faces of Dad and the rest, all the sleepiness go right out of the window.
せいぜいお互い頑張ろう
Let's
ぜ
do our best to stay firm, alright?
そうね
That's right.
特に今年はしっかりし
We
ない
have
と
to
ね
stay firm, especially this year.
だな
That's it. Let's tense up our assholes and do this thing. Rudolph said these strict words in a small voice that only Eva could hear. Failure would not be tolerated in this family conference, and all of their companies were hanging in the balance. Even Rudolph's face looked a little tense. Eva's expression probably looked tense as well.
母さん荷物を持つよ
Mother, I have our
甲
luggage.
板に上がろう
Let's go up to the deck.
ありがとう
Thank you.
ジョージは本当に気
You
が利
really
くわ
are
ね
thoughtful, George.
どうして急にお礼なんか
Why are you thanking me so
母さん
suddenly?
らしくもない
It's not like you, Mother.
エヴァ
Eva,
ジョージ
George,
到着やで
we have arrived.
荷物をまとめるんや
Gather our luggage. Oh, arrived.
こらマリア
Hey,
転
Maria.
ぶから走るのをやめなさい
You'll fall, so stop running. It seemed Maria was already getting excited. She ran circles around Hideyoshi, escaping from Rosa, who was trying to catch her.
どうしたの母さん
What is it, Mother?
具合悪い
Do
の
you feel sick?
ジョージ
George,
荷物を持って
take
先
the
に行って
luggage
な
and
さ
go
い
on ahead.
母さんは貧
Your
血だろ
mother's
わしが
probably
肩を貸す
anemic,
わ
so I'll lend her a hand.
そう
Oh,
分かった
really?
よ
I understand.
先に
I'll
行ってる
go
よ
on ahead. By looking at Eva Peculiar's expression, Hideyoshi realized that he had not been a pleasant awakening, and made George go on ahead. Ciao, Cipi. Una cosa che Maria e Beatrice giovani si assomigliano. Allora, devi pensare però che il manga è stato fatto dopo la novel, un bel po' dopo la novel. E per ora non abbiamo visto nessun sprite di Beatrice da piccola. Quindi tenni in considerazione questo. Comunque, Rudolph's family and Rosa's family were also went up onto the deck, leaving only Eva and Hideyoshi inside the boat. Ah, ok. Beh, chissà, alla fine Maria ha detto che si incontrano tutte le volte che viene a Rokkenjima. Quindi magari hanno fatto un po' di amicizia in qualche maniera. La sua apparizione arriva, giocano a fare le streghette nel giardino delle rose. Eva had a vague expression on her face, as though she still hadn't been able to escape from her daydream. What's wrong? Why the meek face? I wonder if I've been using George as a tool for my own revenge. I wonder if my childish hostility towards Nissan has caused me to treat that boy's life like a toy. What have I done? What have I... That isn't true. George is our wonderful son, and he'll always perform admirably wherever he goes. Even if your own ends got a little mixed in, everything turned out all right in the end, hasn't it? Cipi, l'unica parte che ti sei perso è Eva che ha questo dialogo con se stessa del passato, con se stessa ragazzina delle medie. Sembra proprio l'uniforme scolastica delle ragazzine delle medie superiori giapponesi, che effettivamente c'è lo sprite di Eva ragazzina, dove fa tutto quanto un discorso con se stessa sul fatto di aver promesso di diventare capo della famiglia Shiromiya, e il fatto che poi diventando più grande si è dimenticata di lei e della sua magia di riuscire a trasformare la sua insoddisfazione, la sua rabbia in forza di volontà per andare avanti. Si sta dimenticando di questo, ha cambiato il suo sogno in voglio diventare il nuovo successore degli Shiromiya avrò un figlio e questo figlio diventerà il successore. E poi adesso siamo arrivati a questo punto in cui lei si rende conto che forse sta semplicemente usando Giorgio come un modo per vendicarsi di suo fratello bastardo, maschilista, patriarcale, e di suo padre, uguale, se non peggio. E adesso si sta confrontando con Hideyoshi. You haven't done anything wrong. To the contrary, George is thankful that you have been strictly disciplining him, right? Really? Hey, really? I wonder, doesn't George think I'm a horrible mother? Doesn't he? He's never said anything like that. Not even once. That's just your needless anxiety. Hideyoshi-sama. Everyone has left the boat, you know? Oh, did you drop something? Shall I help you? Kumasawa had come to check on them when they hadn't come up to the deck. Hideyoshi and Eva behind his back. Hideyoshi hid Eva behind his back so her expression couldn't be seen. Yeah, sorry. My necktie pin just got a little crooked. We're alright, we'll be out in a second. Wait outside for us. Is that so? Then I will wait outside. From that almost incomprehensible excuse, Kumasawa realized that something had come up and disappeared so that she didn't trouble them any further. If they stayed here any longer, they wouldn't probably make everyone else worry too. It's about time we go. We'll make George and the rest worry. Am I really not despised by George? Yeah, nothing of the sort. In fact, he's very grateful. Did you have a bad nightmare? Again? Yes. Hideyoshi knew that it wasn't rare for Eva to be tormented by nightmares, and they would always become more striking on the days leading up to the family conference. Hideyoshi knew that Eva's relationship with Kraus was still so full of antagonism that it could have even be called trauma, and that she still couldn't separate herself from how she'd felt as a child. That was a dream. I'm with you now. If I grasp your hand tightly like this, then the dream will go flying away. Right? Look.
痛いわ。
That
ありがとう。
hurts. Thank
も
you.
う平気よ。
I'm fine
降
now.
りましょう。
Let's get off this boat.
あ
Yeah,
あ降りようか
let's get off the boat.
みんな待たせてる
Everyone
で
is waiting for us.
ごめん
I'm
なさ
sorry.
ん
Hmm?
さっきあなたの
I'm
タバコ
sorry
の
that I
煙の
yelled
こ
at
と
you
怒鳴ってごめんなさ
about
い
the smoke from the cigarettes just now.
普段ならそんな
Oh,
こと
come
で
on, you
謝らん
normally
し
wouldn't apologize for that sort of
悪
thing.
い夢
You
見
go
た
all
後の
frail
お前
after you
は
have
今
the
日まで
bad
か気にす
dream.
るなや
Don't worry
お
about
前
it.
に煙が届い
I
ている
was
ことを
wrong
気
for
づ
not
かんかったわ
realizing
し
that the
が悪いん
smoke
や
was affecting you.
私のこと
Have you
嫌いになった
started to hate me?
ならんなら
Oh,
ん
no way, no way.
この程度で嫌い
If
な
I
んて
hated
言う
you
とった
after
ら
something like that, we
三日も
wouldn't
経
have
んで
lasted 3 days.
ささ
Come on,
たったたった
stand up, stand
降
up.
りるで降りる
Off we
で
go, off we go. Però vedi,
秀吉様エヴァ様
scusate se mi blocco sempre, ma come abbiamo avuto quella piccola di Eva in episodio 2 non abbiamo avuto niente perché è morta subito. E non abbiamo visto tanta parlantina prima come in episodio 1, anche se è morta molto presto, è morta nel secondo crepuscolo in episodio 1. Ma da quel poco che abbiamo visto in episodio 1, Eva ha due cose. Davanti a tutti fa veramente la stronza. Cioè, ha proprio una lingua che è una sciabola, è proprio una katana, neanche una spada, non è neanche tagliente, di più. Sa colpire a fondo e colpire bene e soprattutto quando c'è qualcosa a che fare con George, cioè le cose che ha detto a Shannon nei flashback di episodio 2, porca troia. D'altra parte, quando è da solo, come abbiamo visto adesso, soprattutto con Hideyoshi, che è diciamo il suo marito, il suo confidante, la sua persona che ama di più al mondo, o forse seconda dopo George, è veramente una tenerina povera. Adesso abbiamo visto anche che ha dovuto subire parecchio quando era piccola e non solo, anche anche crescendo e diventando più grande. Non lo so, sono cose che apprezzo tanto di Eva. Io vi ho detto dall'episodio 1, ma dalla prima live, non da episodio 1 e basta. Dalla nostra prima live che Eva è il mio personaggio preferito. E light spoilers, scoprirete ancora di più in questo episodio del perché mi piace così tanto Eva. Dico solo questo e andiamo avanti. Hideyoshi-sama, Eva-sama, is everything alright? Are you not feeling well? This time Goda had come. It looked like they had kept everyone waiting too long after all. Eva stood up without grumbling this time. She couldn't keep on forcing her bad mood onto her husband and causing him more trouble. Because that was something a good wife would do.
大丈夫ですか
Is everything
体調が
alright?
気になられ
If
る
you
よ
are
うでした
worried about your health, shall I
南條
call
先生を
Dr.
お呼びし
Nanjo?
ましょうか
ありがとう。ちょっと
Thanks.
貧血気
I'm
味
just a little
もう
anemic.
大丈夫
I'm
よ。
alright now.
婦人病中やっ
It's
ちゃ
just their
気にせん
hormones.
といてや
Don't worry about it. Va bene, Berlusconi. Oh, for goodness sake.
そんなの人に言わな
Don't
く
say
ていい。
stuff like that
恥ず
in
かし
front
い
of
わ。
people. It's embarrassing.
おおすまんすま
Oh,
ん
sorry. Eva elbowed Hideyoshi in the gut. By that time, her normal expression had returned, which allowed Hideyoshi to relax a little. Shadow! Ma salve, grazie mille del raid! Benvenuti a tutti, grazie mille! Come va? Tutto bene? Va bene, va tutto bene. Dico subito, La live è in inglese, cioè parliamo in italiano, abbiamo le riflessioni in italiano, ma leggiamo il gioco in inglese. Lo dico subito. The bright sunlight outside was almost enough to really make a person go giddy. A small plank was lowered to get off the boat, and Goda was waiting there, smiling and ready to lend them a hand. Please, Eva-sama, your hand.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
六軒島へよ
Welcome
うこ
to
そいらっしゃいました
Rokkenjima.
おかえりなさい。
Welcome back. Huh? When she left the boat, it seemed to Eva as though she had heard the voice of her young self saying welcome back. No, it hadn't seemed that way. Someone had said welcome back to her. After becoming a shameless adult, the voice of her young self was distant.
私は何のために生きてるの？
What am I living
何を
for?
どうすれば
What can I do
私
to
はこ
release
の妄想か
myself
ら
from
解き
this
放たれるというの？
obsession? Hideyoshi heard her talking to herself. He drew Eva close to him by her shoulder, and just by his firmness, he communicated that there was no need to say anything more. Maybe it was because the typhoon was getting closer. The lively cries of the seagulls, which usually greeted them when they arrived, couldn't be heard at all. Oh, mi fa troppo morire quando viene tagliata così la musica. E sono già le 2, abbiamo saltato un pochino. Sempre più veloce comunque la parte prima che succeda il casino. Comunque Shadow, che avete fatto? Che hai portato in live?
6年前のことか。
6 years ago, you say?
何しろ
I mean, 6 years, that's like a whole of that's like the whole of elementary school, isn't
覚え
it?
てろってのが
It's pretty
こんな
unfair
話
to
だ
ask me
ぜ
to remember, don't you think?
そうだね。
I agree. Especially since we were so young, we've grown a lot in these 6 years.
案外自己紹介がなかったら思い出
Actually,
せなかったん
if
じゃ
we
ないか
hadn't
い
been introduced, we wouldn't have been able to remember you.
そうかな。
You think?
私はバトラーだ
I
って
knew it
すぐ
was
に分かった
Battler
ぜ
right
口を
away.
聞いてさらに
After he
確信
opened
で
his
きたぜ
mouth, I was even more sure.
マリア、初
I
めて
met
会っ
him
た。
from the first
6
time.
年前わか
Don't
んない。
know about 6 years
そう
ago.
ですよね。
That's
マリア
natural.
様は
You
ま
were
だ
only
いくつで
3
した
after
もん
all.
ね。
それを言われたら俺もだ
When
ぜ
you say it like that, when you say it like that, I'm the
3歳
same.
の頃しか
I
知
knew
らないマ
Maria
リア
when she was 3 years
こんなに
old,
大
and
きく成
she's
長してるんだから。
and she's grown so big.
そりゃ
Yeah,
わから
no
ないわ
wonder
けだぜ
I didn't recognize her. Ah, Zukosis, fighissimo. Cioè, avevo visto i trailer, so che era fighissimo. Cioè, mi sembrava molto figo, ma ne ho sentito parlare molto male una volta che è uscito. After all, we had all gone out to the beach and to walk around, talk and take it easy, enjoying ourselves. Our parents appeared somehow on edge and seemed to have things to catch up on, so we had decided to leave our seats. A dopo allora, Shadow. Just as you'd expect, since it had been 6 years, the conversation focused on me.
しかし
Still,
本当に背が
you've
伸びた
really
ね
gotten taller.
僕も低いつもりはな
I
いけど
wouldn't call myself short by
とにかくその身
any
長には
way,
驚い
but
たよ
your height surprised me.
そうですね。
That's
6年
right,
前
I
のバトラー
remember
様は
well
よく
Battler-sama
覚えており
was
ます
like...
それでも
I
驚
remember
くらいで
well
した。
what Battler-sama was like 6 years ago, but I was surprised even so.
だな。6
Totally.
年前のバト
I
ラー
could
からは
never have
想
imagined
像が
this
つかない
from
くら
how
いだったぜ。
Battler looked 6 years back.
みんな
I'm surprised at how everyone remembers so much about 6 years ago.
俺なんかかなり
My
記憶
memory is
が
all
誤ってるのに
hazy.
よ
だろうな。
Not
私たち
surprised.
のことを思
I
い出す
mean,
の
you
に
seem to take
少
a
し
while
時間を
even
かけてたみたいだも
remembering
んな。
us.
あれはちょっと
Hurts a bit, you know?
いや
Come
さす
on,
がに
it was
6
6
年前だ
years ago, right?
覚えてろって方が
It's ridiculous to ask me to remember.
6年前のことですと、
So you can't remember things that happened 6 years ago very well.
私は
I can remember as clearly as it was yesterday. That's because your memory is good, Shannon. I bet you remember well what kind of things Battle-kun did and said 6 years ago, don't you? Come to think of it, that's right. Shannon's memory is surprisingly good when it comes to certain things. I'm crappy at remembering fun stuff, but horrible at boring stuff. Mamma mia, Maria. Spiriti affini io e te. Io mi ricordo, minchia, le più stronzate di merda inutili possibili quando devo studiare qualcosa di importante. Esce subito. Davvero, Maria. We all laughed, saying that everyone was like that. Shannon, by the way, what was Battle like 6 years ago? Remember any interesting episodes? Let's see. I'm sure that he said something like this when he left. I'll be back. See you again. Tra l'altro in inglese, quindi quando è così, quando ci sono queste parentesi, queste ciccini qua, è proprio fatto letteralmente in inglese. I'll be back. See you again. I'll come for you riding a white horse. Ah, Butlerino, hai capito, Butler di... adesso 19 anni, quindi Butler di 13 anni che faceva le sue moves su Shannon, eh? I bet he did. That's exactly what he was like 6 years ago. He was always full of those stupid lines. George. così George. He really does sound like something Battle-kun would have said back then. Embarrassing. Yeah, horribly embarrassing. Maria, I'm sure that when you are in middle school you want to say embarrassing things like that. When that happens, write it on the back of some leaflet first and read it 3 times before you decide to say it out loud. If you don't, you'll definitely regret it. Still, everyone has to pass through that painful period. That's right, that's how you know your place, learn shame and become an adult. Yes, this is a memory I want to disappear. The bittersweet kind of things that everyone does in adolescence as they transition to becoming adults. I just wanna talk to him. You see, I tend to let my mouth run wild without thinking too much, so I don't remember all the details of everything I say. But when the contents are recited back to me afterwards, it's always something extremely embarrassing. In recent years, I've finally come to understand this weakness, and I have been working hard to refrain from such careless outbursts, but it seems I was just born with the habit of speaking without thinking, and there isn't a whole lot I can do about it. Shannon, do you remember any other embarrassing things? Yes, well, I remember various other things, but since it looks like the person in question wants to forget them, I think I will refrain from saying any more. To be blunt, there's nothing else I remember. Please, don't remind me. Shannon's bullying Butler? Bad. Bullying is bad. She really isn't bullying him. Cosa hai perso, Shadow? che stanno parlando un po' del passato, di cose che sono successe 6 anni prima, e Shannon ha raccontato il fatto che Butler, quando è andato via per salutarla, ha detto ci rivediamo, see you again, proprio così in inglese, quindi è venuto fuori un see you again, e ha detto tornerò indietro e ti riprenderò cavalcando un cavallo bianco. E quindi adesso c'è Butler che sta affogando nel cringe e tutti quanti lo stanno prendendo per il culo. Di sicuro Jover, Ed Canon Jover. Let's leave it at that, okay? But Shannon, you'll have to tell me about it sometime. Butler, but Shannon, you have to tell me all about it sometime. Butler-kun isn't around. It sounds pretty interesting.
はい、
Yes, certainly.
No,
you can't, Shannon-chan. For a while, Georgianiki teased me by pretending to ask Shannon-chan for more of my embarrassing misspeaks. Georgianiki was messing around, teamed up with Shannon-chan, but he seems, how to describe it, very candid and frank. He was always frank with his cousins, but he usually took on a reserved, gentlemanly attitude when he came in contact with the servants. When I thought about it, I got the feeling that he was just acting a little overly familiar, which seems slightly weird. Maria started scribbling in the sand with a stick, and Georgianiki and Shannon-chan joined in, which left me and Jessica off to the side, so I asked her secretively,
Yo, Jessica.
Hey Jessica,
ジョージの兄貴って
is
さ、
Georgianiki,
その
going out with
シャノンちゃ
Shannon-chan?
んと付き合ってたりする？
Oh?
何
What the?
なんでわかった
How
んだ
did you notice?
バトラーお前
Butler, you got more of an eye than people for people than I thought.
俺冗談で
I,
言ったつ
I
もりだ
was
ったんだ
just
けど。
kidding. They're actually going
付き合
out.
ってんのかよ。
声が大
Your
きいって
voice is too loud.
一応内緒
They
の
are
付き
actually
合いって
keeping
こ
it
と
a
らしいぜ
secret for now, apparently. Alright?
特にエヴァおばさ
It'd
ん
be
の
better
耳には
if
入れない
nobody
方がいい
heard
よ
about it, especially Auntie Eva.
なるほ
I
ど。
see.
使用人との。
Love with a servant.
いやでもいつの間
Yeah,
に。
but since when?
は
Wow, a lot can happen in 6 years.
でも
But still,
確かに兄
Aniki
貴なら人間も
really
でき
is
てるし。
talented, and
シャノンちゃん
Shannon-chan
も
is
優
kind
し
and
くて海外し
spirited.
そうだし。
They might be a pretty good match. Actually, 6 years ago I remember taking notice of her just a little bit. So that's how it is. She really fits well with Georgianiki. Nothing I can do about that. E vedi che c'è di nuovo. C'era qualcosina, eh? Goodbye, my fleeting first love. Ah, ok, proprio lo dice proprio. Ok, io pensavo che venisse tirato un po' più avanti, no. A quanto la sua prima cottarella ce l'aveva per Shannon, piccolo Butler di 13 anni. E lei ne aveva quanti? 11? Vabbè, sono piccoli scemi, lasciamoli perdere. Goodbye, my fleeting first love of 6 years ago. Which means that my collection of embarrassing lines that Shannon-chan just held back on probably has something to do with that. Ah, I can't take it.
兄貴たち付き合って
How long have they been going out?
どの段階か
Well,
ら付き
depends
合ってる
on
と呼ぶの
what
か
you
にもよ
called
るだろう
going
けど
out, but I
確実
definitely
に
it's
1年以上は続い
definitely
てる
been
と
at
思う
least
ぜ
a year.
双方片思い
If
時
you
代
count
も
the
含める
times
と
before either of
数
them
年になるんじゃねえ
confessed,
のか
it'd
な
be several years, I guess. Before I realized that the two of them had separated themselves from the group, and we were walking down the beach talking about something. They looked calm, and rather than a light relationship between two lovers, it looked like a more serious relationship, as though they were already engaged.
6年か。
6
で
years.
っけえ月日だな。
That's a long ass time.
俺にとってのこの6年は
Where
何だったんだ。
did these 6 years mean
図
to
体
me?
がでかくなっただけ。
I've just gotten
親父との
taller.
親子喧嘩で
It was
意地を
just a
張り合
waste
う
of
うちに
time. 6 years I spent obstinately fighting with my dad.
くだらない時間だったな。
バートラの方こそどうなんだよ
What about you,
彼女と
Butler?
かできたの
Have
か
you
よ
gotten a girlfriend? I wonder. There's a lot of girls that I play with, but I don't have a special one yet. Probably just a kid. I think it's more fun to be noisy with a large group of people than being alone with one person. That's so you, Butler. But take your relationships with female friends seriously. Girls can be scared with their communities and their wrong impressions, okay? There could be a secret feud going on over you, and someone might be crying or being hurt without you noticing, you know? That's so weird. I think I got the same bit of advice from one of the girls in my class just last week. What's with that? Why can't we all have fun together? Do they really want to find a special person that badly? It's probably because you never had a partner like that, Butler. Well, you'll probably run into a girl like that at some point. Just gotta wait it out. What? It seems almost like you've already found a partner like that. What about you? Have you gotten a boyfriend? No, Jessica non ha detto ha detto Vabbè. Huh? Me? No, quanto... Oh, posso dire che mi scalda il cuore la risatina nervosa di Jessica. Il... mi fa mi fa stare bene. Come on, that's reaction... that reaction's so easy to understand from the looks of it. There's some boy you're thinking about, but you haven't been able to confess that to him yet. Something like that. No, that's not... Cram it, jackass! Who cares about me? You're the one who brought up this subject. Why do you have to go and get mad at me? Women are creatures who always ask questions, and yet they almost never answer them. What cruel creatures, seriously. Okay. I did try to confess once. Well, I struck out pretty badly. Did I say sorry? No, well, it was really one-sided and they were just like taken aback, I guess. It was like they didn't even view me that way. I can understand that you talk just like a man. If you don't act a little more elegant, well, you won't be able to entice a man's heart, you know? Non è vero, Butler, stai sparando cazzate. It's really the way I speak. Really that bad. Well, how you talk isn't everything, but if someone likes you, who usually talks badly... Well, how you talk isn't everything, but if someone like you... Oh, ultima volta. Well... How you talk isn't everything, but if someone like you, who usually talks badly, suddenly started making an effort to talk nicely, that takes courage, and that might really get some guy's heart thumping, maybe. Really? I see. Yeah. Jessica had suddenly started speaking meekly and was faintly blushing. I see. Even though her confession didn't go out well, looks like she still hasn't given up. But yeah, I totally get that. After seeing how close George Aniki and Shannon-chan have gotten, it's no wonder she'd start wanting a boyfriend. Six years. Those 6 years of puberty are pretty important, and they go by so fast. With the typhoon approaching, the cloud had gotten steadily grayer, and yet, even so, I had this really refreshing feeling. Maybe I'll start thinking more seriously about the opposite sex, more than just the size of their boobs.
ところで
By the
ジョージ
way,
の兄貴は
I know George Aniki is going out with a servant, Shannon-chan.
まさか
Not you as well, right? Eh?
どうしてそう思うんだよ。
Why would you think that?
そういや
Come to think of it, that young kid, Kanon-kun, who greeted us in the house garden.
口下手だからって
You covered for him quite a bit just considering he was bad at talking, didn't you?
いや、そんな
Oh, that's not... Yeah. You're too suspicious.
じゃあさ
Then tell me just this one thing.
今この
Right
瞬
now.
間ジェシカが狙ってる
Is the
男は
boy you're after someone
1キロ以内
within 1 kilometer?
いや、それはその
Well, that's...
どうだろう。
I don't know. Kanon-kun is the only boy on this island who could have possibly become her boyfriend. So judging by her reaction, I'm probably right on. I don't think the Ushiromiya's family is a noble family, but two people in love with servants. I never have dreamed that two pairs of Romeo and Juliet would be right next to me. Auntie Eva will probably become an obstacle to George Aniki and Shannon's Chan love. If Auntie Eva learns that the partner of her only son, the apple of her eyes, Shannon-chan, she'll probably scream at her with cries of a wretched servant, homewrecker, and so forth. And a relationship between Jessica and Kanon-kun will probably just be as full of difficulties. Aunt Natsui also seemed the type to be strict about that kind of thing. After all, Jessica's husband will probably become the head of the Ushiromiya family in the future. If that person had once been a servant working for the family, well, no doubt things would be complicated.
ま人の恋路なんてそれぞ
Well,
れさ
everyone finds their own way in
一緒
love.
にいて楽しい
Who
相手と
cares as long as you find someone you enjoy being with?
つがいってのは
Being with someone doesn't require any permission as long as the two people accept each other.
親がどうこう
If you worry about your partner or your family, then you
それを
lose.
忘れるなよ
Don't forget
半端
that.
な気持ちで
You
付き合うんじゃねえ
can't
ぜ
go out with someone with half-hearted feelings.
しゅ恋もしたことね
I
えくせに
can't believe you're saying something so philosophically sounding when you've never ever been in love.
恋は損得感情でするなよ
Don't treat love like it's a matter of profit and
アー
loss.
トでしろよ
It's about heart.
俺が言いたいことはそんなだけ
That's
さ
all I want to say.
じゃあな See you
Well
again
then.
Have a nice day
Coglione. Well then. See you again. Have a nice day.
ジョージ兄さんシャーノン聞いてパートだったらこいつまた面白いセリフを言い出したぜ
Carino però. Quando non fa il coglione Butler è molto carino.
何も言ってないって
Oh, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Ah, don't make fun of me. Don't make fun of me. Maria. Vabbè, ha detto Maria ha sentito. Vabbè, I heard. For a while we forgot about the wind getting stronger and we played around on the beach. This meeting with my cousins, who had grown so much over the last 6 years and we were thoroughly enjoying their youth, felt truly refreshing. It was a little late now, but I realized that I should have buried that hatchet a lot sooner and returned to the Ushiromiya family.
いとこ同士ってのもたま
Sure,
には
it's
いいもん
nice
だ
to
な
spend time together as cousins every once in a while.
マリアもいいとこ
I like it when all the cousins are together. It's fun!
そうだな
Jover. That's
俺たち
right.
ももういい年だ
You're
な
already old enough.
別に親がいなくても会える
It's
だろ
not like we couldn't meet each other when our parents aren't
たまに
around.
はいとこだけで集
It
まっ
might
て
not
遊
be
ぶ
a
のも
bad idea for
悪くない
just
かも
us
しれないね
cousins to meet up and play every once in a while.
それはいい提
That's
案
a
だ
good
ね
plan.
いつかそういう機
Maybe
会を
we
設
should
けて
set
も
up
いいかもし
something
れない
like
ね
that someday.
同感だね
I agree.
私たちいとこは
That's like
いつ
for
まで
us
もずっと
cousin
仲
at
良し
least
がいい
to
よ
that's I'd like for us cousin to at least be Mamma mia. I'd like for us cousins at least to always be friendly with each other.
おいおい
Hey, if you
そこを
put the
強調すると
emphasis
まずい
there, doesn't that make it sound like our normal families don't get along well? Beh, insomma. George, Aniki and Jessica laughed, but it felt a little strained. Did I say too much? Judging by how our parents made quiet expression and tired faces every once in a while during the boat ride and at the airport, maybe that was something I shouldn't have said. And then,
そうだな
that's
ジェシカの言う通りだぜ
just like Jessica
俺たち
said,
はいつまでも
let's always be
仲良しで
friendly
いようぜ
with each other.
マリアも
Me
一緒
too. Everyone's friendly.
そうだね
That's right. Yeah.
僕たちはいつだって
We'll
みんな
always
一緒
be
だよ
together.
みんな
We'll
仲良しだよ
always be friendly.
私たち
Man, we've been saying some pretty embarrassing stuff.
なんだか照れちまうぜ
I feel kinda awkward.
でもと
But
て
I
も
think
大
that is
切なこと
very
だと思い
important.
ますよ人は願わねば
It's very hard for people to always be friendly, let alone always be together unless they
難しい
wish
生き
for
物
it.
なのですから
そうだね
That's
みんなが仲良くいられ
You
るこ
really
とを
can take
決
advantage.
して当たり前なこと
You
だと
really can
思っ
take
てはいけない
everyone
ね
being friendly for granted.
知り合いの魔女が言ってた
I wish I know said
幸
that.
せは
Happiness
みんなが
won't be
信じなくちゃ
granted unless
叶わない
everyone
んだって
believes in it.
確かにね
That's
信じる
true.
力には
Maybe some magic
魔法が
exists
や
in
る
the
のかもし
power
れ
of
ない
belief.
それを全員が信
If
じ
we
た
all
なら
believe in
き
that,
っと
I'm sure it will
幸せを
bring us
運んできてくれる
happiness.
だろうね
よし
Alright.
なら恥ずかしいことのつ
Now,
いでだ
the next embarrassing
私た
thing.
ちはみんなで
Let's all
信じ合
swear
うと
to
誓おう
believe
ぜ
together, alright?
みんないつまでも
That
仲
we'll
良し
always be
で
friendly
いつまでも幸
and
せ
that
で
we
い
will
よう
always be happy. Screw becoming like our parents, searching for each other's weaknesses, going after grandfather's fortune. Screw all that forever.
俺たちは
Alright.
みんな
We'll always
い
be
つまでも仲
friendly
良しで幸
and
せ
happy.
だそれをみんなで信
And
じよう
let's
ぜ
all believe that. No matter how long it had been, or how much fun we were having, it didn't stop the dark clouds from approaching Rokkenjima. I wonder if the typhoon will pass and show us the refreshing sky before we leave this island. Who gives a crap about our parents or what our parents are plotting? Who gives a crap about the inheritance and the honor of our old family? We are so young and renewed our old friendship, and every one of us believes together that we can all be happy. So, I want this day to end without anything weird occurring, in the peace and happiness, calmly. No, not that I want to end. Please let it end.
終わるかよ
In your dreams! Damn it!
お前は出るなよ
Don't show up.
現れるなよ
Don't appear.
くそくそくそ
Damn, damn, damn.
待たせたな
Sorry to have kept you waiting.
ようやく
The new
新しい
game
ゲ
has
ームの
finally
用意
been
が整った
prepared.
さあさあ
Come,
始めよう
let us
ではない
begin this tale of
惨劇の物語
tragedy.
の訪れよ雨よ
Come
風
to
よ
me,
台風
rain,
よ
winds,
この
typhoon.
島をうつしようよ
Cut
り
this
切り
island
離
off
せ
from the real world.
異界へまた
Throw
へ
Rokkenjima
幻
into
想
another world, into the nether world, into the world of fantasy. And so the tale repeated for the third time. However, before the Endless Witch, what point was there in counting 1, 2, 3? There was probably no point at all. After all, this tale of fantasy would be repeated endlessly until the match was settled and either Butler or the witch surrendered. And the sky grew dark and cloudy, the rain and winds were summoned together and became a typhoon. And Maria could be seen in the rose garden, paying no mind to the rain that had started falling, going around in circles, searching for that single rose which she had surely marked. Not here, not here. The rose we marked. My rose, it isn't here. Maria definitely remembered it. The rose had been in the flower bed right here, and yet it wasn't. She didn't know what to do with with her irritation at not being able to find something which should have been there, and moaning bitterly, she couldn't help but keep going back and forth in circles around the same spot. She was acting almost as though she wouldn't be able to see if it looked at a different... No, she was acting almost as though she would be able to see it if she looked at a different angle, but try as she might, there was no way she would find something that wasn't there. E adesso arriva Beatrice, gli dà l'ombrello e... The wind grew increasingly stronger and the rain turned into cold, large drops. There was no way Maria wasn't bothered by this. However, if she couldn't find her rose here, it would surely disappear forever. Maria believed that. That feeling spurred her on to keep searching for a rose that she had no chance of finding. Just then, the cold drops of rain that were tormenting Maria were suddenly blocked. Maria raised her head, and when she did, she saw that an umbrella was open there, protecting her from the rain. And the one holding out the umbrella was the witch she admired, Beatrice. What are you doing so frantically in the middle of all this rain? You could catch a cold like this. Even witches have to take care of their own health. My rose, I can't find it. No matter how many times I search, even though it was definitely here, I can't find it. Maria told Beatrice about how there had been a slightly unhealthy, pitiful rose, and that she was sure they had marked it. And you can't find it. If you were a witch apprentice, you should use the magic to search for the rose. I believe that as long as you search with merely your eyes, it won't nearly be enough. I can't find it. I did my best and tried to search with magic, but I can't find it. While this is certainly ideal for practicing your magic, it might be a little too much for you with all of this wind and rain. Allow me to lend you some special power. Concern for one's disciple is also among the duties of a master. Thank you, Beatrice. Maria's face, which had been full of sadness until just now, split open into a grin. Maria knew. She knew that there was nothing Beatrice's magic couldn't do, and she was sure that Beatrice would easily be able to find the rose she couldn't find herself. Beatrice closed her eyes lightly, acting as though she was listening for something in all this wind and rain. Then she heard it, opened her eyes and spoke. All things in this world are transitory. It is unfortunate, Maria. It seems that your rose couldn't withstand all this wind and rain. Then my rose is... It was uprooted by the wind and no longer of this world. What Beatrice said was certainly plausible. There was nothing odd about the flower being broken off at the stem in this strong wind. However, Maria couldn't accept this, and bitterly gave a low-pitched moan. No. No, it's my rose! My rose has to come back. I'll bring it back to life with my magic. Beatrice, teach me how to revive a rose with magic. It's much too early for an apprentice like you to learn the hidden art of endless magic. Know your place. Maria wiped the tears from her eyes, full of regret. Seeing that expression, which so invited pity, Beatrice shrugged her shoulders and chuckled. Very well. I will lend you power for the hidden art that can revive a rose. Really? Yes. Well then, concentrate the power of your heart. Close your eyes. Forget the rain, forget the wind. Search for the soul of the wandering rose with the eyes of your heart. Ops. Non volevo interromperti, Beatrice. My bad. Maria closed her eyes. Then she repeated Beatrice's poem-like words. Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have? Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have? Don't look, don't listen, and believe. Release the power of your soul from the cage of flesh that imprisons it. That's it. Good. Around Maria, who was concentrating her power, her eyes tightly shut, golden butterflies began to dance. Was this the manifestation of the magical power Maria held? Lost souls of the rose, gathering to one, and remember your form. Come, gather, remember. The glitter of the gold butterflies began to strengthen, and their numbers increased. Then Beatrice raised a finger up to the skies, and they began to gather at the tip of that finger. This was the miracle of the golden magic. And the gold butterflies began to condense into a single dazzling grain of gold. It was a single seed glittering gold. It sat at the tip of Beatrice's finger, budded into a golden sprout, and opened into a golden leaf. It then slowly fell from that fingertip, sank into the mud of the flower bed, and began to grow steadily. Maria, who admired magic and witches, must have really wanted to see this fantastical sight. However, as an apprentice, Maria was still not qualified to see it. No, she was probably afraid that, if she opened her eyes and looked, the power of her heart concentration would be interrupted and the magic would be lost. Therefore, it was Beatrice, the one permitted to lay eyes on that golden miracle, who was the one and only witch and the master of many miracles. Then the fully grown rose bloomed, creating one golden flower. And when Beatrice poked it with her finger in just the right way, the gold-colored sparkles scattered as if a golden soap bubble had been popped, and what remained was a single beautiful rose. It looks like you remember the splendid rose. However, if we just leave it mixed with all these roses, you won't be able to tell it apart. Shall I perform one last service? Beatrice, for the sake of her cute apprentice witch who was moaning over even more now in concentration, decided to cast one more little spell. She snapped her fingers and a single gold butterfly appeared, fluttered around and landed on the flower that had just been revived. Then it suddenly burst open and disappeared, becoming golden lace and marking the rose. This is sufficient. Maria, you may open your eyes now. Oh, where's the rose? Not here. Not here. Not over there. Not over there. Not here. No, not over there. Over here. Look. I have marked it with a golden lace. You did! Awesome, 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 awesome! Thank you, Beato. Thank you, Beato. I want to become a witch quickly. A great witch like Beato. And you can. Long ago I too wished for that innocently, just as you do, and now I have attained that level. Maria was ecstatic over the revived rose, clapping her hands and jumping around in joy. Watching that, Beatrice also smiled, looking fairly pleased. Now, if I try, I can break or repair any soul, not just that of a rose, and kill and revive as I please. So the barrier created by the storm had closed Rokkenjima off the real world. Now, it is the time for the Golden Witch, the Endless Witch, Beatrice, to descend. Beatrice pulled from her pocket an envelope with the family crest, the one-winged eagle, and gave it to Maria. Maria frolicked around at being selected to be the witch's messenger. So, Kinzo, I've come to join in on your fun once again. My preparations are already complete. What about you? I assume you have prepared enough coins to bet in tonight's game? Verissimo, Jover. Naturally, I am fully prepared, Beatrice. I have prepared pieces in abundance. I'm ready both physically and mentally. So let me pay the ante. All of you have given, all that you have given should be returned to you in the end. Now, take it. Kinzo flung the window of his study wide open, took off the reasonably large golden ring which had been on his fingers, and threw it in the darkness of the raging wind and rain. The ring was struck by lightning, and after twitching gold for an instant, disappeared. Kinzo watched it go, grinning broadly and fearlessly. I don't see myself losing. You are mine. Forever. The ring that Kinzo had thrown became a single gold butterfly and fluttered around in the wind and rain. It headed for the rose garden almost as though it was being guided there. It then found the figure of the Golden Witch and fluttered down. When it arrived right in front of Beatrice, it burst into a flash of gold and returned to its original form of a ring, flipping up into the air. It seemed as it would simply fall back down onto a puddle of water, but suddenly it stopped midair. Almost as if some transparent person had caught it. Somehow this seemed unexpected even to Beatrice. However, she soon realized who it was and grinned broadly at it. Sì, cazzo! Sì! Ah, uno dei miei personaggi preferiti. As she did, the figure of a person who had caught the ring began to fuzzingly appear. It was the figure of a young man wearing a butler's uniform, embroidered with the one-winged eagle crest. There was no man like this among the servants who served the Ushiromiya family. Even so, Beatrice laughed as though it was someone she remembered fondly. Ronove, isn't it? It's been quite some time. It seemed that you have remembered me. You always were a man who was serious about loyalty. It's been a very long time since your last corresponded. There has not been a single day that I, Ronove, had forgotten that I serve you, milady. Indeed, I was more fearful that you had forgotten about me, milady. I have, after all, known you to be quite forgetful.
なるほど。
I see. Yes, it seems I do forget easily.
そなたの皮肉。
I couldn't even remember your wry speech until I heard it again.
お嬢様これを
For you, milady. With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully and held out Beatrice's the head ring as though he just got it. That he just caught.
後ろ宮金蔵より返還されました
It is the Ushiromiya head ring returned to you from Ushiromiya Kinzo.
指輪は再
It
び
is now once again in the possession of its master.
金蔵によるゲームの
The
開始。
proclamation by Kinzo that the game has
確
started.
かに受け取ったぞ。
I acknowledge receipt.
さて
So,
今宵はどのような
how
お遊び
would you
になさ
like
い
to
ましょう
play
か
tonight?
早速
Shall I
ルーレ
prepare
ッ
the
トをご用意
roulette
いたしましょう
immediately?
かそれとも
Or should I
まずは
prepare
紅茶を
some
ご
black
用意い
tea
たしましょう
first?
か
どちらにしようか迷うが。
Both sounds attractive, but
とりあえず
for
そなた
now
の
I
挨拶
suspect
が
I
必
need
要
you
であ
to
る。
greet someone.
あやつも。
I am quite sure that the man has his mouth hanging open and can't shut it.
なあ。
Right,
バ
Butler?
トラー。
はじめまして
Greetings. Allow me to introduce myself.
ベアトリーチェお嬢様
I
の
am
おそば
called
にてお使いしてお
Ronove,
り
and
ま
I
す
serve as
ロ
the
ングをお願い
side,
します
and I serve at the side of Milady
どう
Beatrice.
ぞよ
It
ろし
is
くお願
truly
い
a
申し上げ
pleasure
ます
to meet you.
ほらな。
See?
相
His
手の
mouth's
口が
hanging
塞がら
open
ない
and
と
he
いう顔
can't
である。
shut it, right?
当たり前だろ。またこんなわけのわかんないやつが出て
Isn't
きや
that
がった
obvious? Another incomprehensible guy just
いや
appeared.
嫌だなが盆踊りを
I
始めるのか
grumbled
とぼやい
that
た
I grumbled that the goat-headed people would start doing a bond dance, and then the goat-head started showing up in
太も
swarms.
も姉ちゃんたちが
And
7人も
since
出てき
then,
て
not
その上
only have
今度は
these
7時ま
seven
で出てきやがった
sexiest babes appeared, but now even a butler has goddamn shown up.
わけわかんねえよ
Doesn't make
もういい
sense.
加減にしや
Cut
が
it
れよ
out.
ところでバトラー。
By the way,
気づい
butler,
ていたか
did you
こや
notice?
つとそなたの
Have you
会議
realized that you're
これが
meeting
本当
him
の
is a
悪魔
true
の証
devil's
明
proof?
であることを気づいたかな。
悪魔の証
Devil
明だと
proofs? La nostra probazio demonica, come che era? Probazio demoniaca.
どういう意味だよ
What do you mean?
こやつはこう見
He
えて
may not look like it,
72
he may not look
柱
like
に
it,
名を連ねる
but this guy is a genuine
生粋の
demon
悪魔だ
with his name amongst the 72. Probazio diabolica.
つまりわらわは
In other words, I've brought a demon right in front of you, which truly proved that they exist.
ロノエは地獄に
Ronove holds a noble rank in hell, the 27th highest record great demon. Mamma mia, the 27th highest ranked great
なか
demon.
なかに使える
He's a
男で
pretty useful man.
高級で
I
召し上が
summoned
り
him at high cost. I made him serve me.
ご紹介いただけまして
It is an honor to be introduced to you.
地獄の貴族に
While my name is among those of the nobles of
今
hell,
は癒し
I
い
now
人間の
serve as the head furniture of
悪魔も裸足で
Beatrice-sama,
逃げ出すような
vulgar
大魔女で
human
あら
and great
ベアトリ
witch
ーチェ様
from
は
whom
神
even
者として
demons would
使える
flee
んです
in fear. He is a very useful man, but he is impudent with
何
his
しろ口の
words.
ヘラのやつでな時に主への敬いを忘れるのが
It's slightly frustrating that he sometimes forget to respect his master. È vero, è un po' un Genji, è un po' un Genji.
言葉遣いに関しましては
There is nothing in my contract regarding the way in which I must speak.
そのように契約を変更
Would
いた
you
しま
like
す
to change that contract?
わらわも退屈す
It
るからそ
doesn't
れ
bore
でい
me,
い
so it's fine. Beatrice turned her back to him, cackling. After bowing once to her, Ronove turned back to Butler and stuck out his right hand, showing off an innocent smile. Normally, this would mean that he was asking for a handshake.
何のあれだよ
What's that supposed to be?
私もお嬢様のわがままに
I am also one who has been subject to Milady's whims.
その意味では
In that sense, I am sure that we could become good
か
friends.
と思いますよ
This is a handshake of friendship. Of course, it doesn't mean that you will be entered into a demon's contract, so rest assured. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of a big fight with your master. I only shake hands with an enemy after one of those situations like you find in teen dramas, when you've beaten each other up in a rainy schoolyard and are all worn out. Remember that. I see. Then to shake hands with you, Butler-sama, I must create a fitting atmosphere in a suitable location. And we must exchange body language and sweet words that ring true to the heart. I will find a suitable opportunity to prepare such a location. I too love those kind of situations, you know? Laughing tauntingly, Ronove whispered that to Butler, with his face so close to that their noses were almost touching. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Okay, cats. Butler, with his face turning red after getting so close to another of the same sex, pushed him away. Butler, che cosa mi dici? Ti imbarazzi perché un uomo elegante si avvicina molto al tuo volto? You're a creepy bastard. I see. Just right for Beatus Butler. It's an honor to receive such words of praise. I'm very confident in my tea brewing abilities, so please look forward to tea time. Baking cookies is one of my hobbies, so I encourage you to have high expectations for the tea cakes and such. Just what I would expect from a pair of the same gender. You started to get along very well, quickly. I'm jealous. My, I apologize most humbly for making you jealous, milady. I will not stealthily snatch your guest away from you. Well then, I will lead you now to greet the rest of the furniture and inform them that I have retaken my post as the head furniture. Please forgive my short absence. Only the common goals of the seven sisters used for the ritual have manifest themselves. You will be able to finish up greeting them with ease. Oh, those lively several sisters are here. I wonder whether those naughty girls have grown a little more graceful. If that's graceful, I have to doubt my definition of graceful. Oh, is that so? It seems that you have already enjoyed some playtime with the seven sisters. Judging by your expression, it seems that they're just as naughty as they were before. Even though I am always telling them to act more fittingly as a group of those who said Beatrice-sama. What troublesome kids. If that's your problem, don't worry. They actually act perfectly fitting for their master. You've started to grow some guts. However, to have a conversation is to acknowledge the person you are talking to. Now that you have started to respond to my idle chatting, that is proof that you are gradually starting to accept my existence. That's because even if the sun starts rising from the west, I will definitely never accept that you are a witch. Baby, if you started crying, kissing my shoes, I will be willing to have a more constructive discussion. Even if Butler was bluffing, he still spoke forcefully, a fearless expression on his face. The witch and her butler snickered together, realizing that their guest had regained more than enough of his willpower to take on a new game, and that the preparations were complete. After Ronove exchanged a few words with Beatrice, he bowed silently to Butler, scattered into golden butterflies, and disappeared. It's truly pleasing when everything gets so lively. How boring were those days when I was trapped alone on this island, unable to regain my power and without anyone to talk to. I get that creepy ass guy is really fitting as your butler. But tell me, why has that butler only appeared now? Oh. Un secondo. Salve Serpomiz e salve Kirby. Scusatemi, non solo, vabbè, Serpomiz conosce già la serie, Kirby invece non lo vedo da veramente ere geologiche, come ha detto lui. Stiamo leggendo una cosa in inglese al momento, quindi mi spiace. Non penso che l'abbiamo mai finito, Kirby. quindi niente. Non l'ho mai portato, non l'ho mai mandato per essere approvato, quindi non l'abbiamo mai finito. Cioè, non avendolo mai finito. Comunque sia. Allora, stavamo dicendo. But tell me, why has the butler only appeared now? You said something about how only the ghosts and the seven stakes chicks had manifested themselves. What did that mean? Yes. You still fight it, but I am a fully fledged witch. I am in contact with a good many non-human entities in the netherworld. I'm sure. None of your contacts are halfway near decent. First some goat monsters, then those sexy-ass babes, and this demon, and this time a demon butler showed up. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but there better not be any more of those weird guys to come. How much furniture do you think I have serving at my great golden mansion? How many demons do you think visit me there? They will keep coming. They will keep appearing any number. When the door to the Golden Land is open, I will call back on all my furniture and build my new castle here on Rock and Gia. Then I plan to invite all of my old friends, and we will drink and dance together for 3 days and 3 nights. I do also plan to invite Kinzo's family, of course. Oh, scusa. I do also plan to invite Kinzo's family, of course. You too, if you wish. So let me get this straight. Since you lost your power for a long time, you couldn't summon them. And your magic power have been recovering gradually, so you've become able to summon more and more monsters. Is that what you're trying to say? It is as you say. You have managed to avoid taking that final step off the cliff, but your heart is already wavering, and you are unable to deny that I am a witch. That wavering in your heart has slightly restored my power as a witch. So you're saying that creepy butler appeared because I started to surrender? That's right. Bit by bit you are surrendering to me. You submitted to me so much in the last game that you received all of that humiliation, did you not? Your back was truly present for throwing my feet up on. I'll have you know. I'll have you know. Damn it. I thought that as long as I didn't accept you, I'd be able to keep on going. But it seems apparently I was mistaken. That's right. The closer you get to submitting, the more the game will swing in my favor. Isn't chess the same? In the process of cornering each other's kings, you've traded several pieces. It is true that I have yet to corner your king. However, you have your hands full just enabling your king to escape, and you have lost several important pieces to me, and conceded a large advantage. It is only natural that further advances will lean in my favor. As we continue, you will probably still succeed in frantically avoiding my checkmates if nothing else. However, as you do, I will steal your important pieces from you one by one. In the end, you have lost everything but your king, and you will receive a true checkmate, from which you'll never be denied any form of escape. You were talking big last time, weren't you? Something about how, since you would never accept me, it would be eternal torture that would torment me. Only witches who have reached the endless level can talk about eternity. You have never possessed that qualification. Oh, quanto ti amo, Beatrice. Oh. Pam pam pam. Param param pam pam. Pam 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 pam. Oh, e tu non sai che cosa ha già fatto Kirby. Oh, The Candle Dance, bella musica. Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask you that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden. When Maria finished reading the letter that Beatrice had handed her, scusate, everyone was at a loss for words for a while, and then they all broke the silence at once. Ridiculous! What a worthless, vicious prank! I agree wholeheartedly. Vedi che io mi ricordavo epitaffio, però l'hanno tradotto con epigrafe in italiano. Che ricordiamo non è una traduzione ufficiale, è una traduzione che non è neanche finita, a quanto pare. E c'erano degli altri errori, vabbè. I agree wholeheartedly. There is no way the father will give up the head's ring. Beatrice? Ha! What a transparent prank, hoping that bringing up that name will have us running around like headless chicken. Come on, come on! Who's the one behind this dessert packing a little too much punch? I'll applaud and admire you if you come clean now. Rosa? Of course not! I wouldn't pull a prank assuming father's name. Then Aniki? Aniki? Me? Don't be absurd. It was you, wasn't it? Only you could plan something this vulgar. Are you trying to mock me? I am the one who wants to question you. Who is behind this ill-natured prank? Kraus beat the table and stared at everyone. Since that included the children too, it scared them greatly. A letter from a mysterious person who claimed to have been given full rights to father's assets. And if you think about how this family conference is all about discussing that, I think it's too hasty to call this just a prank. I wouldn't be so sure. It really might be one of father's vulgar pranks. He might have planned this to shock us a bit, since we've been discussing the distribution of his inheritance without him. If Dad was the one who planned this, then we can take what Maria-chan just read aloud as a joke, right? That's right. If you interpret the contents literally, then this is a test from father. The epitaph of the witch has been displayed in the hall for quite some time now, and so that any of us could solve it. There was plenty of notice. So he's saying that the first person to solve it will be handed the headship along with all of his wealth, right? See?
私たちの魔法
Our magic worked.
そんなバカな話はありま
Ridiculous.
せん
There is nothing of the sort.
後宮家の次期当
It
主
is
が
an
夫であること
unshakable
は
fact that
ま
my
だ揺るがない
husband
事
will
実
become
で
the
す
successor to the Ushiromiya family headship.
それを揺るがすのがこの手
This
紙じゃな
letter
い
is the very thing that shakes it.
この手紙は
This letter is a
お父
message
様
from
に
the
財産
person
の
who
全てを
was given full
全
rights
権委任
of
され
all
た
of
人物
father's
からのメ
wealth.
ッセージなのよもはや兄さんの当主
Nissan's right to
継承権
become
は
the
白
head
紙に戻ったわ
has returned. Nissan's right to become the head has returned to a blank
魔
slate.
女の碑文を
The
解いた
person
者
who
が
solves the
ベアト
riddle.
リーチェの黄金を見つけた者が後ろ宮家の次の当主になるのよ
The person who finds Beatrice's gold will become the next head of the Ushiromiya's family.
バカバカしい
Ludicrous.
その手紙の
Are you
ざれ言を
going to
信用
trust
す
this,
るの
the meaningless words in that
その風
letter?
浪が本物だとでも
That this seal was the real
信
thing?
用などできる
How
の
can we
か
possibly trust
な
that?
らお父様に直接話
Then
を
let's
聞いて
try
みましょうよ
then let's go try asking father
もう
directly.
機嫌が悪い
We
から
aren't at the
体調
level
が
where you
悪い
can
とか
get away
そん
with
な次元
saying
じゃ
that
ないわ
he's
よ
bad mood. Mamma mia, scusatemi. Dopo 2 ore di lettura sto cominciando, mi si sta impastando la bocca. Then let's try to ask father directly. We aren't at the level where you can get away with saying that his mood's bad or that he's not feeling well, you know?
この手紙は
The sealed wax clearly shows that this letter was from father's representative.
それを疑
You
うなら
doubt
兄さ
that?
んが
Then
証
show
明し
some
な
proof,
さいよ
Nissan.
この手紙が
Prove that this letter is not an
お父様の意思のものでは
expression
な
of
いって
father's wishes.
よか
Very
った
well.
俺の言う通りだ
It is just as
も
you
う親父
say.
の機嫌不機嫌
It
の
no
問題
longer
は
matters whether dad's in a good mood or not.
上へ行き
Let us go up and
直接
ask
問い
him
たら
directly.
そうしようぜ
Let's do
親
it.
父に直接聞
We'll
こう
ask dad directly.
親父だぜ
Dad is to blame too here. Why did he have to choose such a roundabout way?
そこが
Well,
親父らしいんだけど
that is a little like him.
お父
I
様の手
I
紙だ
wonder
とい
if
う
it's
ことを前
alright
提
to
に
talk like that,
話を続けてもいいのか
taking
しら
granted that it is father's letter.
バカローザ
Stop it,
お父
Rosa!
様の手紙に決まってんでし
Isn't
ょ
it obvious that's father's
あ
letter?
の手紙はお父様のなのよ
That letter was
次期
father's.
当主を
Isn't
私たち
it
4人の
obvious
中
that
から
he
選
was
ぶため
giving
の
the four
公
of
平
us
な
a
チャン
chance
ス
to
に
become
決
the
まってるじゃ
successor?
ないバカ死ねこの役立たず
Idiot, die, you useless woman!
ほんとローザだったのは
Rosa is really
へそ
dumb.
でもか
Why
に
doesn't
死ん
she
じゃ
just
え
give
ば
up and die forever?
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry.
そうよね
That's
ごめんな
right.
さい
I'm sorry. No, comunque incazzatissima sto giro, Eva, eh? In the beginning, the adults had all doubted the authenticity of the letter. But after just now realizing that this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance for the 3 siblings other than Kraus in the struggle for inheritance, Eva had changed her position and had claimed that the letter was authentic. Rudolf and Rosa also realized that and agreed.
まったく
Good
そんな
gracious.
くだらないいたずらを
How could adults
大
like
の
you
大人
take
が
such a
これほどまで真に
worthless
受けるか
prank this
お父
seriously?
様でなくても呆
Even
れた
though
い
I'm
気
not
持ち
father,
よくわか
I
ります
understand well his exasperation.
まあ
Hey, Natsui-san. Won't everything be fine if we just ask father?
お父さんがその手紙
Everything will be fine if father simply mentions that he doesn't know about the letter.
兄さん
Nissan,
責任を持って
take
その手紙は知
responsibility.
らないという
Just get him
一言
to
を
say
打ち出
that
す
he
のよ
doesn't know about the
機
letter.
嫌が悪そうだ
It
から
isn't
って
the
ビ
time
ビ
to
って
get
る場合
scared
じゃ
just
ないんだ
because
から
he's in a
ね
bad mood, you know?
いい年してお父様が怖いなんてバカみたい
He's still scared of father at his age. What an idiot.
へそかんで死んじゃえば
Why doesn't he just give up and die forever?
おうはっきり白黒を
Right,
つけようじゃ
let's get the situation painted in black and
今頃
white.
は書斎で食
He's
事中だ
probably eating in his study right
一
now.
度箸を休
I
めて
think
もらおう
it's
じゃ
time we had him rest his chopsticks for a moment.
決まりだな
It's decided. Let's go.
キリエはちょっと待ってて
Kiria,
くれ
wait here for a while.
真偽を確かめて
We'll go out to check whether it's true or not and come back quickly.
ありがとう
Thank
ゴー
you.
ダさんがデザートを
I will
持ってくるのを
patiently,
の
I
んび
will
り待
wait
っている
patiently for Goda-san to bring the dessert. The four siblings, Natsui and Hideyoshi, all stood from their seats, forcefully, and flew out into the hallway with a clatter. Afterwards, the only ones left were the children, stunned, completely speechless, Nanjo, who looked uncomfortable, and Kiria, shrugging her shoulders. Colgo l'occasione per dire a Kirby che non conosce, perché tu adesso, Kirby, sei arrivato che siamo all'inizio del terzo episodio. Abbiamo già letto oltre 40 ore di questa novel, più o meno 20 ore ad episodio, e Eva è il mio personaggio preferito. Io lo conosco già, io ho già finito questa novel, l'ho letta 8 anni fa. Sono 8 episodi in totale. E sì, Eva è il mio personaggio preferito. Ma non preoccuparti, non mi offendi se mi dici che ti stai sul culo, perché generalmente sta sul culo a tutti. A me però, a me piace particolarmente. Maria, who had been at the center of this turmoil, looked a little scared at this adult's sudden change. However, judging from her appearance, she didn't look like she realized the full significance of what she just read aloud. What in the world was that about? I don't freaking get it. Shitheads, every last one of them. Do they really want the inheritance that much? Everyone. This is our parents' problem. It has nothing to do with us, so you mustn't worry about it. Yeah, if only it was that easy. They were so blatantly... I thought they were better than this, showing off their greed. Everyone has to believe together we'll be happy. That's right. We all did promise. Come, Butler, Jessica, you too. I feel like crap. We couldn't accept it at all, but we laid down our arms for the time being. We had known vaguely how filthy the family conference was going to be this time. However, after a 6-year break, I couldn't help but being shocked. Seeing that the children were completely dejected, Dr. Nanjo cleared his throat uncomfortably. It is an adult discussion. It has nothing to do with all of you young people. Let us forget about it. I would if I could, okay? I know that it's hard on you, but please forget it for now. For their sakes. All of your parents are fighting frantically to make your future just a little brighter. Please, don't look at your injured parents with those cold eyes when they come back. Even on your request, Kirie-san, that's a hard one. If we could be that cut and dried about it, we couldn't be kids in the first place. Everyone happy! Can't get dark! Believe! Unless we all believe we can be happy, the happiness will go away. We all have to believe. That sounds good. I'll believe too. We can be happy. Auntie Kirie, thank you. Butler and Jessica Onesan, you believe too. Beatrice is always saying that magic won't have any power if you don't believe. Kirie-san rose from her seat quietly, went over to Maria, and crouched down so that their eyes would meet. You believed, Auntie Kirie. Now Butler and Jessica Onichan have to believe. They're both strong people. They'll feel better soon and do that for you. More importantly, I want you to tell me. When Kirie-san said that, Jessica, George Aniki, Dr. Nanjo and I all listened closely. It looked like our parents' mind have been filled with thoughts of grandfather and the inheritance problem, but we wanted to ask Maria about something simpler. What? Who gave you that letter, Maria? Beatrice.
肖像画に描かれている
The witch drawn in the portrait?
パサと一緒に
She gave me this letter and an umbrella.
そしてね
And she used magic to fix my rose that was broken.
してくれたの。
Beatrice is an awesome witch who can do anything.
詳しく聞かせてくれるかしら
Could you tell us about it in more detail? Perfetto, perfetto cazzo. Tempismo. Ok, è passata mezz'ora? No, un'ora.